informative and contains my opinion and understanding of the subject matter. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hi, hi guys. Do you guys hear anything? Because I hear nothing on my end. What do you guys think? Let me know if you could hear me. It's the weirdest thing. I went on and I hear nothing. You hear me? You guys, talk about the computer that could. I don't even know how this computer does it. It's amazing. But I have good news. The reason I was a few minutes late was because someone got their AdSense thing in the mail. So I'm not positive, but, oh wait, I have something starred. Cuff You's been a member for 3 months. Were you guys not able to do this before? Because if you weren't, then that means my stuff's back. I don't know how to check, but I'm excited. I'm hoping this means my stuff's back. I set it all up. I got my number thing done. I just had a nut. I got my number thing done, you guys. I turned on all my stuff, I think. I don't know how we would know. I don't know. I guess just hope. I could look and see. Maybe if enough people join tonight, I could like give out memberships if I have them. I don't know. I might be getting a little ahead of myself. Let's see. Oh, we got a member for 3 months and Truth comes in. She's like, oh no, Cuff You. I've been a member for 4 months. I'm just kidding. Which is actually the longest. Truth, you are my very first member. You guys, Truth was my first member. Truth was around since before I was a YouTube channel. That's how long that bitch has been around. It's serious. And Cuff You, you're right behind her. And so Sarah. I don't want to leave Sarah out. She'll come for you too if I do. Memberships work now? Shut up. Lindsay, yes, Lindsay. We are green again. Oh, look, a squirrel. This is like the best day ever. All right, maybe not the best day ever. That's a little dramatic. But you guys know what I mean. Oh my God, you guys. I didn't even realize. I had no idea earlier until you guys just said it. I think Lucas Girl said it. I don't think I realized earlier that you guys weren't green. Cuff You coming in with a $5 super chat. I'm so excited, especially because if you guys see, wait, look at this. I share. Let me show you something. Oh, wait, is it not going to let me share my screen? Oh, yes, it will. Duh. All right, hold on. Let me show you this. Let me show you. So I had to set up my stuff. I think you guys can see. Let me look. Yes, you can. So I had to set up my stuff, right? So I went in, you guys. Look at this. My revenue's down 44%. My members are down 33%. My members gained last 30 days down 67%. Cancellations 49, so it's up 63%. Now I will say that that's because probably my AdSense thing went off. That's what I'm assuming. But I was like, oh no, look at this, you guys. It has to be, because look, over here on October 8th, I was at the highest I've ever had. I had 53 members, and then it dropped down from the 8th to the 10th. Look, 53 down to 33. And then again, today or yesterday, it dropped down to 17, you guys. There's only 17 of us left. So I have to figure out a way to do this. We have a couple people, Queen Bee. Let's look at all of our members since there's only 17 of us. So thank you to Sarah, Queen Bee, Melissa, Alley Cat, Pat. Oh, look, a squirrel. Why does it do that? It's like being weird. Oh, look, Queen Bee, Melissa. Oh my gosh, Birdie. It's not letting me stay there. Harper, Travis, PKC, Cuff You. I love tacos. It looks like there's a ton more here, right? Truth Exposed. So, I don't know, you guys. All I know is that I need to stop getting my stuff taken away from me because it's not cool. Anyway, let's go back to normal now. Let me get rid of this. Let me stop complaining. There we go. What is that? Oh, look at that. What do we have here? Thank you again, Cuff You. You are so amazing. I can't stand it. You guys are just so good to me. Welcome, Sirius. You guys, let's welcome Sirius. You guys, I'm so excited. And I have to be honest with you. Thank you, Cuff You, because I was like this close to not streaming tonight, only because I got all of my stuff in the mail and I was like setting it up. And then I'm like, it's past 9 o'clock. Nobody's going to want to join now. Da, 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 da. So I was just going to skip it. And then I got your message and I was like, that's a sign that I need to go on. And I'm so glad I did because this just made my whole night. You guys, I'm so excited. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I appreciate you. All right, so while I'm saying hi to you, I'm pulling up some Mackenzie stuff. I need to get my Mackenzie voice going. Okay, let's see what we have here. Let me share it with you guys so you guys could see. And then that way, you could let me know. Hi, Harlot. Oh, so no, serious. I'll tell you how. Serious, shut up. Thank you. Thank you, Sirius Black, for your $10 support. I don't even know how to talk right now. You guys, my heart is like, poof, poof, poof. But I'll tell you why you weren't on there, Sirius. It wasn't your fault. It was me. My stuff got canceled again from YouTube. They like stopped all of my everything. Like I couldn't get a super thanks. I couldn't get a membership, nothing. And it's been a few weeks now. So what happened was if you were one of the people, which most people were, that would renew on a certain date, they stopped with my memberships. So they stopped like renewing your membership. So it wasn't your fault. It had nothing to do with your card. It was literally YouTube. Sorry, YouTube. But it is what it is. Wow, you guys. Thank you. And I was talking to my daughters today, and we're going to start looking, since I set up my AdSense, YouTube should finally give me the money that I have made. Everything's down a lot, but it's okay. Everything is welcome here, and you guys just made my night so much. So I think we're gonna like figure it out to where maybe they have like these green screens. It's not even that expensive. Who knew? I've been waiting so long to get anything because I was like, this is gonna be too much, or this is gonna be too much. Other than the computer, which I do have to get, but like the things that other people have, the things that make the noises and like the oh my God, and all those things, they're really not that expensive. A green screen, not very expensive. I had no idea. I already have light only because both of my daughters grew up in the phase, so they have the circle drawings, but I'm sure eventually I could update that too to make me look a little nicer here. But I think that the reason I always look so pale, I don't think it's from the light. I think it's from my computer that could. It's okay, though. I'm really not this pale. I promise. I have a little bit more color to my skin. Let's see what you guys are saying. Sirius Black, I'll give it a try. Uh-oh, what are we talking about? Oh, you're so happy, Lindsay. Lindsay, I'm so happy. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All of you. What do we have here? Harlots. Oh, look, a scroll says, don't play, you know us. We put around here, don't even play about not going live after we got our hearts set on it. guess what? I'm telling you, Lucas Squirrel, I didn't think earlier, I don't know why, but I didn't see anybody comment when I asked if we should go live. So when I was thinking about it, I'm like, do people even want me to go live? And then I was just like, you know what? I was like, it's an omen. It's like it was like 9:15. I was like, whatever, we'll just call it a night. I already went live. It's okay. And then I get a message from Cuff You, and I was like, maybe that's a sign I should go live. So I figured I'd go live with you guys. What do we have here? Mods, I gotta be careful not to be cussing. I gotta get creative and stuff. I need some Kenzie madness. All right, here we go. Let's do the Kenzie thing. All right, let me show you guys what we have. It was supposed to charge me on October 12th, but no, it wasn't that, you guys. All of you, just so you guys know, none of you had anything to do with your memberships. It was on my end. YouTube put me in timeout until I had to like get my verification for my home address set up, even though they had my bank account and everything, I guess. I don't know. But it was none of you. It was 100% on my end. And this is like the third time YouTube's done this to me. So hopefully they're done like torturing my life. That was a little dramatic, but all right, let's see. So let me share this with you guys and we'll see what we should look at tonight. So let me go to where did it go? True crime. I was going to say, oh, please no, but it's there. And we have to go to Mackenzie. And then we have to go to Mackenzie again. Wait, what do we have here? Oh, I think we listened to the phone calls before. That was like the one with her mom and stuff. There's a whole thing, you guys, just on Dom. So what was this again? What's recording one? Let's find out. You guys, I can't hear it for some reason. Let me see what's happening. I have no idea. Can you guys hear this? I can't hear anything. I don't know what's happening. Hold on, let me go into my... I should probably see if you could hear this so I could shut up and just fix this if you can. Let me see. What's happening? Oh no, you guys can't see it. But were you guys able to see anything? I think I'm frozen now. Am I frozen? Huh. That's weird. I'm going to stop sharing for 1 minute. So you guys have to let me know. Were you able to hear that or no? That was so weird. I don't know why I can't hear anything on my end. That's going to be hard because how am I supposed to hear? What could it be? Could it be my mic? Hold on, let me create it. I'm going to my settings. Let's see. No, it's not one of those things. I'm trying to figure out. Well, at least my Ethernet's cable connected, so that's good. That's a first. That's going okay, hopefully. I don't know why I can't hear, though. How am I supposed to know what we're listening to? I'm playing it right now, and I hear nothing. Oh, wait, is this it? Hold on. Let me try it again now. No, I still can't hear it. Shoot, you guys, why is there always an issue? So annoying. I don't even know how to fix it. So let's see if we could pull up some text messages instead. Let's see, text with dad. We've never done text with dad. Oh, let's read some of her texts with her dad, you guys, since I can't hear anything. And just remind me again, were you guys able to hear it? Hear me, I mean. I don't know what's going on with my voice. Hold on, let me get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of some of these. Oh, wait, let me see. Memberships. Let me see something. All right, how do I do this again? You guys, we have member-only posts. Did you know that? I'm sure you did. Oh, how come I can't see this stuff? There's member-only chat rooms? What in the hell is that? You guys, did you guys know there was members-only chat rooms? I didn't. Wow. That's crazy. I feel like now that I just set this up, I got like access to things that I didn't have before. I'm going to have to go through this later. All right, let me just get rid of this and stop getting distracted. Let me share my messages and let me just do this. As long as you guys could hear me, we're good. Did you guys say you could hear me? Just let me know. That way, I'll get started. I sound great? Well, that's a first. Hi, Jen. Hi, Barb. All of our friends are showing up. Tony's here. Who else do we have? Wicked. Hi, Wicked. Oh, good. You guys could hear me. All right, let me start. Loud and clear. Well, let's go. Let me share this. I'm so excited, you guys. You guys like me my whole night. Okay, so here we go. This is the Cellbrite information for Mackenzie Shirilla and her dad. Let me get my drink real quick. So if you remember, Mackenzie and her dad, they have like a little bit of a weird relationship in my opinion, but when I read her messages with Dom, she talks shit on her dad all the time. It's crazy. So let's go through this. Let me see, is that nice and big for you guys? I think we're good. Okay. Let me see, can I make it bigger? Should I make it the whole screen? Let me make it the whole screen for a little bit, and then I could always go back. I always feel like nobody could see it. Here we go. I have my story time voice on. Let's do this. Okay, so Mackenzie says, are you up? We're at 1/4/2020. So the accident was 7/31/22. So this is about 1.5 years before the accident. Mackenzie would have been 15 years old. Okay, so she says to her dad, are you up? Is mom up? Can I stay till, oh wait, you guys, did we read this? Is this the one with the milk? We might have read these, you guys. I think this is the one where she asked for hot milk. It was like really weird. Do you guys remember that? Let me see if there's other messages we didn't read, because I think we read them. Let's see. Which chat media? Oh no, I think this is a video and I can't hear anything. My computer that couldn't. We did Grace. Reported. We did Christine Russo. We did Rosie Graham. Post crash messages. What are these? To Angelo. That's the brother. There's only 4 of them, but I think it's worth looking at. So it's worth looking at because, for obvious reasons, he shared this with the police. So yes, we read them. All right, so we're going to take that down, and then I'm going to share Angelo's post. Sorry. All right, here we go. Oh no, this is with her dad. Look at that right there. Can you make me warm milk? That is so weird. Do you guys ask your... No, we already talked about that. Nobody asked their dad to make warm milk. Weird. All right, here we go. This is the right one. All right. So this is with Angelo. Angelo is Dom's brother. I believe he's... I can't be sure if he might be a year or 2 older. I think he is than Dom. This is on August 6th at 4:14 p.m., which is after. Oh, you guys, this is 6 days after the accident. Just in case anybody is joining us for the first time, welcome. And also, if you don't know about the case, we're talking about Mackenzie Shirilla. And she is in jail for the murder of her boyfriend and friend, and then her friend. So Dom and Davion. She went 90 miles an hour into a brick building, a sign, then a brick building. And Dom was killed instantly. They said that his body was broken. Like, I was reading I have a few things we could read actually. And then one of the things that literally the cop says, like, his body was broken. And then Davion ended up like on top of Dom in the front seat. And he was still breathing slightly at the scene of the crime, but he had a very weak pulse and he wound up dying like upon transfer into the ambulance. It's so sad, right? Okay, so let's look at this. Hopefully you guys can see it a little bit. All right, so I'm going to read it to you anyway, so we'll see what happens. All right, here we go. It says, "Hey, Angelo, I don't know if you hate me, but oh my God, you guys. Oh my God. Let me start over because I cannot believe what this says. Hey, Angelo, I don't know if you hate me, but tomorrow for the funeral, would you be able to go in Dom's room and grab some photos from his desk for me and him so I could put them in the casket so that he can be with me forever?" So you guys, is this not so narcissistic? Think about this. She says, can you put the pictures in there so that so that Dom can be with me, Mackenzie, forever? Why wouldn't it be her being with him forever? That stuff annoys me. So that was at 4:14 p.m. 3 hours later, exactly 3 hours later on 7/14, he writes, "Please let me know." Then she writes, "Hi, Angelo." So now this is August 23rd. She says, "Hi, Angelo. I just wanted to say I'm so sorry. I know you probably think this is all my fault, and I'm not asking you to feel bad for me, but I just wanted to say I'm so sorry. And I know you miss him so much. I wish he was here too. This should have never happened. He loves you so much." He loves you so much. And I know you know that. I don't even know what to say to you, or just, I feel so bad. I hope you guys can forgive me because I always look at you guys as family. You don't even need to respond to me. Oh, Let me get to the next one. She says, you don't even need to respond to me. Okay. Oh, where'd you go? Where'd you go? Here it goes. Okay, you don't even, oh, come on, computer, that good. There we go. Where is it? Because it's halfway through. So this is the second one, but I have to find out where I left off. This should have never happened. Da, 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 da. I don't even know what to say to you. I just feel so bad. I hope you guys can forgive me because I'll always look at you guys as family. You don't even need to respond to me. I just wanted to tell you I'm so sorry. Then she writes, I just wanted to reach out because I feel like you felt like I don't care. I'm not taking this seriously, but I really do feel bad. It's killing me. He doesn't respond. That was on August 23rd. Then on Monday, October 24th, she says, hey, can we talk? Oh, wow. And then in the next one, it says, hold on. This is still my computer. Hold on. I have to do play again. That's so ridiculous. All right, ready? So this one says, on May 7th, why did they put that this is number 3? So you guys, this is actually before the accident. I don't know why they made this. They have it listed 1, 2, 3, 4, and this one's number 3. But if you look at it, it says Tuesday, August 23rd at the very bottom, where she where I first read the first one. So before that, on May 7th, 2022, she writes, Dom's phone died. There's no response. Then on Saturday, August 6th, oh no, we did read that one. Do they have that twice or did I just? No, that is it. Hold on. No, that's it. So hold on, let me go to the fourth one. I don't know if there's 2 in there. They're the same. And then she says, please let me know on August 6th. No, you guys, that's so weird. So there's 4 of them here, but 2 of them are the same. So let me find something else. So I guess that was evidence. Oh, this other one, I'm not going to pull this one up. It wasn't that big. It was just about when she was, number Zoom call, she said that the court's going to try and give CPS custody. But listen, I don't want you to freak out or worry. Wait, what? Hold on, I never saw this, and I have to show you this. What in the actual heck, you guys? Wait until you see this. You guys, this says, I got a phone call. So this is Mackenzie's mom. I got a phone call from the cops lady a little bit ago, and she gave me a number for a call to join a Zoom. And she said that the court is going to try and give CPS custody. But listen, I don't want you to freak out or worry. And then it says, wait, what? CPS, foster care? Mom, what? OMG, you guys. Wow, that is crazy. Wow, you guys. Isn't that crazy? Wait, I don't see me on here. What's happening? Oh, you guys. Let's see. Can you guys see me? Because I don't see me up there. Oh, I think I know why. Hold on. That was straight A stupid. Now you can see me. I had on the full screen. That was so dumb, you guys. I had on the full screen thing. And, ooh, these presets are weird. Anyway, oh, this one's not bad up in the corner, but I had I had it on full screen so that you guys could see what I was reading. And I'm like, wait, where'd I go? You guys, do you want to know what's funny? Do you remember the last Mackenzie live we did at the end? We couldn't see me, but we could still hear me. How much do you want to bet that was such a straight A stupid moment? And my medicine had just worn off by that point of the night. If you guys noticed today, during the day, I was a lot more focused. Not focused, I don't know, is that the right word? Yeah, maybe it's focused, but whatever. And that's because my medicine is still working during the day, and I'm not like, oh, look, a squirrel. Is that where you came up with your name from? Oh, look, a squirrel. I said it in my head the other day in my car and started laughing. I was like, oh my gosh. Is that from like her ADHD? Oh, look, a squirrel. And then I was like, oh my God, I really am straight A stupid. They're gonna out Mackenzie in foster care after the wreck. No, wait, I'm thinking it's for the sister, I thought. Oh, maybe. And oh, look, a squirrel says yes. Well, oh, look, a squirrel. I think I had an ADHD moment last time, you guys, because what I think I did when you guys couldn't see me, I think that I had the messages up on like full screen so you could see it. And then when I took it down, you couldn't see me, but I never changed the way that I was on there. Oh my God. Maybe she will say it. See what? What do I have to say? What do I have to say? So write it again if that was for me, whatever I have to say, because I will look. When I'm reading, I can't, I'm on like a different screen so that I could see what I'm reading. But then that makes it to where I don't see you guys. All right, what else could I read here? Hold on. Report history. Did we go through the report histories? We did go through these, I think. The menacing and disturbing, we went through that. I have all these other ones here that I want to do, but I can't hear anything. And I don't know if that's, it's probably something stupid. Let's see. What is this? What is content? Let's see what this is. Oh, you guys, this is, oh, let me show you. I don't even want to jinx myself. It's downloading. I'm not saying anything. Hold on 1 second. There's something downloading, and this might work. Let me make it bigger, because I feel like when I make it bigger, when we're all together, that's when it messes up. Share screen. Okay. So this, my friends, is the one with Dom. Yep. These are the ones with Dom, you guys. So let me tell you what the problem is. When you go down, like when you scroll down, it wants to stop at a certain point, and then it doesn't let you go any further. Or it lets you go further, but it like messes it up. Wait, hold on, let me see. Do I need to see something here? Oh, I already answered it. Sorry, I just got that. I'm going to see if I could get it up on here. Worst case scenario, I believe on my phone, it lets me. So if I could figure out how to bring my phone up on here, that would be great, wouldn't it? But let's see if it lets me go down. Now, I just have to look real quick and see where we left off. I believe we left off. I'll tell you right now. My AdSense is back up. I'm so excited. I just saw it again. Sorry. That made me excited. You guys. All right, content. Here we go. So let me go to my lives. View all. I just want to see because I don't want to do the exact same text. So that's the one with Grace. We did the text with Rosie. We did the text with Miss Russo. Mackenzie and Dom text messages, part 4. Oh, I probably put it in the thing, what it was. So there goes part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. So this would be like a part 5. Let me just see real quick. I'm sure I put it, or I hope I put it in. I don't want to like redo the exact same thing that we already did. Ooh. So let's see. I am so dramatic. I just heard my voice. And then that says something that we can see or puts like emoji. All right, so let's see. Where do we end off at then? Oh my gosh, you guys, we went over a lot of the documents there. Where did we end up at? Get this right now, right? There. Hold on, I just gotta make it bigger. Hold on. If I can make this bigger, which I can. 7/17/22. Oh, we went and we did the ending. That's what it was. So where did we start that day so that we don't go over them? It'll take me 2 seconds to figure it out. But I do remember that. I remember we skipped all the way to the end to see, but there's a whole bunch in the middle, you guys, that I can't even tell you was so upsetting. So I think 4/2/2020, hold on, let me see how much further it went. This one is 9/22/2020. Then we did 11/19/2020. Oh, well, we got pretty far with that. And then it jumps to, so it looks like I did up until then, and then we went forward to 2022. So everywhere in the middle. So we did 4/17/22 up until the day of the accident, but before then, oh, actually, we went even further than that. So we're around, we did 8/1/2020. I just don't want to do the same things. We did 8/14/2020. 9/25/2020. We did 10/2020. I don't know how far we went. Oh, we might have gone. All right, hold on. You guys, I am so sorry. I thought the other thing was going to work and it didn't. All right, we're still in 10/2020. I'm going further because I don't know where okay, now we're in 12. So we did the entire year. We did January. This is where I think we ended up in March of 2021. We did February. We did March. We were on April. Oh no, I have 11/25 of, oh no, that's right. So we were up to April. We did up to April, you guys. April of 20. It was exactly April. Hold on. This one, I'm just glad that it was just expertise. That's funny. All right, let's see. Yeah, so that's weird. I wonder why I did that. I guess because, oh, I think I remember. It's all coming back to me now. I think that the reason I did that was because we wanted to see from looking at the documents what happened right before. But 8/3/2021. You guys, this makes it look like we went through it, and I know I didn't. I might have just been showing you guys because there's no way I went through a whole hour in like 1 minute. I think we ended on for the end, like in April. All right, here we go. Let's get it. And then afterwards, just so you guys know, I always go back and in the notes, I wind up figuring out how to put timestamps. So if anybody ever wants to go back, you could just click on the timestamp and it'll tell you what we did that time. Cuff You, you're on one of them. I think when we did like the call-in show and it was like conversation with Cuff You. All right, hold on. We're up to 20. We're at 8/4/2020. 9 of 2020. Oh, please work, Jesus. 11. Let's see how far it's going to let us go. I'm peeing now. Of course, that's what I land on. Okay, now we are into, we're at the end of 2020, so we don't have to go too much further. Let's see. That's 2021. This is where we left off. See how it only lets you go down so far? But that's so weird. Up here, you could see that there's 31,000 pages. So then I come over here, and it said we were at 28. So watch, if I go to 30, it does come up. So maybe that's how I'm going to have to do it. So we just have to go to April. But that's so weird, isn't it? All right, let's see how far down we have to go. All right, I went too far down. But at least I know that I could do it that way. This is 10/1/2020. I went back too far, you guys. Sometimes it jumps back too, which is annoying. Okay, I'm at 2/3/2021, so I don't want to go too far. Now I'm at C1/14/2021. It like goes backwards. It's the weirdest thing. I can't even tell you. This is 1/15/2021. 1/14. Like, why is it going backwards? That's so weird. It's like a conspiracy, you guys. What's happening? What happens if I click on this? Conversion, instant messages. What does that mean? Or you could do participants, but it brought me back to 1. Let me see if I put in here 18,000. It brings me exactly to where we have to go. How do I stay here? So that we know we're at 18,000. Let me see if it lets me go down. Oh, it is. All right, let me just say. So on 5/14/2021, Dom says, I'll go to either. I thought we were going Sunday. Mackenzie says we need to book them right now. She's been on my D about booking these effing tickets for like 3 damn hours. It's been so annoying. Does Mallory? No, we do not ride roller coasters. Dom says, I don't even think Blair's trying to ride these rides. We just getting food and playing games. Mackenzie says, make reservations. Meg and Haley want to come. Are you planning on riding any roller coaster, says Mackenzie. Dom says, nah, I couldn't do that shit. Maybe like some PUSSY ones. Bruh, Blair got annoyed by them. Definitely bring them, though I'll be dead. What? Mackenzie says, they're broke. They can't come. Oh, they don't have money. And then Dom laughs. That's not cool. And then the very next day it's not really the next day. It is, but it's not. It's 12:06 a.m. He says, how's the party? And then at 1:44 a.m., she says, love you, bae. Good night. Oh, that's a first. So then she sends the attachment with like the kissy emojis all over her face. And he says, good night, babe. Love you. Then on 5:15 at 10:20 a.m., he says, what are you doing? Up still? Oh, what are you doing up still? You guys, she writes N-I-G. I don't like that. She calls him that often. And then she says, bed, bed, bed. Oh my gosh, bed. All in capital letters again. He says, what time are we going? And then he says, I'm not getting up right now. And she says, he says, I have a headache. I'm not getting up right now. And she says, I don't know. We are going probably around 1, 2, or 3. Oh, that narrows it down, Mackenzie. And then she says, Mallory and Blair have not even texted me yet. Dom says, yeah, I ain't even know we were going today. I thought Sunday. She says, bruh, can you call Blair? And then she says, so I effing know. Then she says, and these are all in caps, like, why is everything a big deal? There's a lot of typos. Then she says, literally annoying. Just say yeah or no. This is all within like 5 minutes. And he says, what do you mean? I had to think about what that meant. He says, what do you mean? And then Mackenzie says, are you coming today? Yes or no? And are you going to call Blair? Yes or no? Oh my God, she's such a bitch. He says, you call him. She says, you're kidding, right? He says, I need to get some underwear, then I'll go. You guys, I don't know what it is, but he always needs underwear. You have to take notice. And then she says, you think I effing have Blair's number? Like, what the F? And he says, okay. And she says, OMG, why are you being so difficult? Like, bae? And then he says, I got a headache. And she says, I'm stressing, trying to plan this, and you being mean. I'm going to get, and then she says, the pass is right now. Then she says, you can either start being helpful or you can just not go. Oh my God, you guys, why didn't he just say, I won't go? Then she says, did you text Blair? You guys, it's not even 11 a.m. yet. He says, I hit him up, and then sends an attachment of what they said. If I wasn't so scared we couldn't get back here, I'd click on it. But I think when we click on it, it doesn't do anything. Then she says, and still before 11, bruh, all in caps again. If you don't answer right now, and then writes, you are not coming. Answer the phone. Okay, you're not coming. You guys, that was only 1 minute. And then he says 1 minute later, like, what the F? I want to go if you ain't got to be like that. She says, you can go to the drug mart yourself and buy yourself a ticket. Oh, what a bitch. Then he says, I don't have no underwear or laundry detergent. And she says, because I waited in that store for literally nothing. And then he says, and Trofe is next door. Trofe, you guys, is his brother, Chris, and they don't always get along. Then he says, what do you mean? And she says, okay, there's like 80 things that's going wrong. And he says, like, I wanted to go, but I ain't know we was gonna, I ain't know we was going, I think, today. He does correct it and says today. And then he says, I wasn't ready at all. I got a headache. And then she says, okay, then don't go. And he says, I'm trying to go though. You just tweaking on me. But okay. And she says, you weren't trying to go one bit. If you were trying to go, you would have been out of bed, getting ready and answering fast. But you gave me shit for literally every text message I sent you. You guys, it's still 11:02 a.m. He writes, I got out of bed. I was putting Vaseline on my thigh because I'm chafing, because I wore some shitty ass underwear yesterday. And I looked for detergent. And she says, you know, you can always do laundry at my house. You can always do it here. You choose to have these problems. And he says, babe. And then he says, I didn't know we was going today. You want to bring me detergent? And then she says, you're causing me so much unnecessary stress for literally the dumbest shit. And he says, I'll go. Like, what the F? And then he says, making it so hard. She says, I can effing go tomorrow too. Oh my God, you guys, she's a pain in the ass. And then she says, I have a platinum pass for a reason. Oh, excuse me, Mackenzie. She's got a platinum pass for a reason. I'm glad she used it because she ain't using it for a minute. And then she says, if I knew it was going to be such a big deal asking you all to go, I wouldn't have even asked. And he says, well, you planned it without us, Bay. If you told me last night, I would have been ready. And she says, actually, no. Mallory was the one on my effing D about planning it. And when I do it, it's an issue, okay? And he says, maybe if you told me the plans. She says, maybe if you all didn't each have an 85-step process to doing everything. He says, cuz. Oh, I love that. I always use cuz. He says, cuz. I could have got some detergent last night. And she says, I can wake up, put on an effing trash bag, and go to Cedar Point. And he says, do you have underwear though? Like, all I need is some underwear. This bout to make me tweak. And she writes in all caps, why? He says, because you making me tweak, like you making this hard as F. She says, I was at the drug mart getting the tickets. I called you over 5 times asking if you wanted a ticket. You didn't answer any of my calls until I was ready to check out. Oh, she said until she was ready to check out. Does that mean she didn't check out? Why didn't she get it then? She says, then after I left the store, you asked again if you wanted to go and you still did not give me an answer. He says, because you were yelling at me. And then he says, fine, I'm done. Oh, I love that. He hasn't really been sticking up for himself. Guys, hold on 1 second. I'm so sorry, but Thor had to make an entrance. He needs to go out. 1 sec. Hold on, Thor. Thor just wants to make sure I'm still paying attention to him. He's like, Mom, I'm right here. Okay, here we go. I'm just getting a drink. Okay, that way I don't have like a crackle in my voice. All right, here we go. Where were we? So she says, dude, she is so mean. She says, we can all go tomorrow. I'm going today, though. And I'm pissed off at Mallory and Blair. They better not talk to me. He says, nah, if you go in today, don't talk to me this week. She says, laughing my ass off, all in capital letters. He says, bet, cool. And then he says, so that was at 11:08. So all of this happened in 10 minutes. And then he says, at 11:10, so 2 minutes later, he says, okay, I'm getting laundry detergent now, but I guess I still can't go. Thanks for making this so hard, Bay. I would have loved to go to be with you. And she says, bruh, all in caps, you literally just said you weren't going to talk to me for a week if I go. Let's just go tomorrow because I know you're going to be mad the whole entire time we're there. And Mallory is being a straight bitch to me all about your effing punch her in the damn face. Huh? She says, and Mallory is being a straight bitch to me all about your effing punch her in the damn face. I don't know what that's supposed to say. And then she says, she better watch her lying mouth with me real quick. You know I always want to be around you and I want you to come, but if it's going to be this difficult and stress me the F out like this, then I can't do it. I don't even know what to say to this girl. He says, laugh out loud. You hit me up, and you guys know I know HMU because my daughters taught me that and faux show. And he write, LOL, hit me up in the morning. Hit me up in the morning. stressed me out, then told me I couldn't go. Thanks. She says, we're going tomorrow with Mallory and Blair. Now, you know. He says, I'm busy then. Oh, good. I'm busy then now. And she says, no, you're not. And do it today. You can do it today. Don't be like that. And he says, okay. And then he says, don't talk to me until next Saturday. And she says, and he says, oh, he sent something, but they redacted it. She said, you seriously a weirdo? And he said, okay. And then he says, I see you took your pics off of Instagram too. Why? And she said, babe, in capital letters. It's not like that. Like, why are you doing this? Like, explain. And he puts a question mark. And she says, what the F is going on with you? And he puts a question mark. And he says, delete. Our pic keeps going to parties without me. What are you trying to say? You want to get it over with? Question mark. And she says, all in capital letters, you don't like black parties? I don't even know what that means. And then she says, I didn't want the Christmas picture on my Instagram anymore. I didn't think that would be a damn problem. I didn't say anything to you. I didn't say anything. Do you have something on your mind? Nobody, buddy. And he puts a question mark. And then he questioned, I didn't say anything. Do you have something on your mind? Nobody, buddy. And she said, like, I'm at a point of trying to have fun. I invited you. You ignored my calls. And now you're trying to make me feel bad. I don't effing think so, but thank you. And he said, you hit me up at 10 a.m., no notice, and was like, yeah, we go into Cedar Point at 1. Then gave me a hard ass time when I wasn't ready at all and still got a headache and then went without me. Like, we could have avoided all of that. I ain't going tomorrow. And then she writes in caps, okay, then why are you still texting me about it? You're the one still going, laughing my ass off. Like, read the text. And he says, cuz you ruined my day. I'm going to ruin yours. Oh, I don't like that. And she says, okay, I'm just not going to answer your text. If I can't talk to you till next Saturday. And he said, okay, bye, babe. I'm going to go to Don's Lighthouse because I'm hungry AF. And she writes, okay. And he writes, oh, that was at 1:27. At 1:28, he says, this is really making me contemplate. And she says, you're the one being so mean for no reason. I'm not going to let you treat me like this. And he says, nah, you started being mean first. You just yell at me. And she said, no, I didn't. You're the one that ignored all of my calls when you knew where I was going. I'm done texting. And he says, yeah, because I was trying to get ready to go with you. And then he says, thanks, though, babe, for doing that. Like, everything's going so downhill. And she says, that's literally a lie, though. You make up like 18 different excuses on why you can't come to Cedar. And he says, ran next door with Trove over there to get the detergent, laughing my ass off. Nah. And she writes, you drank. You had a headache. You needed laundry detergent. Trove is there. That's his brother. And he says, yeah. And she said, like, how many more reasons are you going to give about why you can't go? And then you're going to complain when I go without you? And he said, you were rushing me. And she said, like, what the F? And he says, yeah. She says, leave me the F alone. Whoa. And then he says, wow. He says, y'all said Sunday. Go hang with Hallie. She just wants to smoke your weed. Mackenzie says, okay, go eat Lighthouse by yourself and let Blair annoy the shit out of you for 3 hours straight. He said, nah, I'm going to bring someone. Oh, that wasn't cool. And then he says, then we're going to go see llamas. And she said, okay, then we will break up. So you do that, and I'll see you when it happens. And he said, it may or may not be Blair. actually, I'm gonna go cool it with my N-word B. And she said, so are you going tomorrow? Oh my God, you guys, are you serious? And then he says, I want to say no, but I don't know if I'm being bipolar and going to feel bad. I'm just going to take perks. Oh, I don't like that. And then he says, Will sent me $100 on Cash App. Yeah, I'm still salty. I don't know if I'll go tomorrow. And then he says, and you guys, this is over like an hour time. And then he says, I don't know if I can do this shit no more. I want to go, but then I also want to just tweak the F out. And then she starts sending him, oh my gosh, TikToks. I couldn't get that word out. Then at 7 o'clock at night, so that was at like 2 in the afternoon. Then at 7 at night, she says, sounds like something you would do. And then he says, I wouldn't shoot you with a Nerf gun. Wait, what? I wonder what these are about. These must have been something with the with TikTok. I'm gonna have to look up the TikTok address later to see what it was. But anyway, she's telling him it's something he would do, and he said he wouldn't shoot her with a Nerf gun. And then he says, and yeah, I do be letting shit ruin my day. And she said, yes, it's booked. And then she says, I booked your thing. And he says, bet. Meanwhile, I thought they weren't supposed to talk till Saturday. This isn't even 5 hours later. She says, I know you weren't going to be able to book it yourself or with Blair. And he says, so what? And she says, it's funny. And he said, oh, I thought you were trying to be mean because you sent me that TikTok too. What are you doing? And then she sends him a message. And he says, so this is at 10 o'clock at night. He says, yeah, you want to leave at 9:30 too? And she says, I mean, you just say yes to Mallory. I think that would be mean. Yes to you too. And she says, well, she's in Illyria. Wouldn't she be closer? I didn't know if you wanted to leave earlier. I was acting like I was dumb, laugh out loud. And she says, I'm waking up at 8:30 tomorrow. He says, okay. She says, do you have to shower tomorrow? He said, yeah, I'll shower early though. I'll wake up at 7. Also, Blair said Mallory's sick now. Mackenzie says, bruh. And then Dom says, but I still want to go with you. And she says, yes, of course. And then he says, we'll make it really fun because we both don't like rides anyway. Huh? I thought they loved the rides. Remember they were tripping on, I don't know. She says, Mallory and Blair been annoying me anyways. And he says, go on kiddie rides and shit, laughing my ass off. And she says, yeah, and you'll actually want to wait with me and do fun stuff I like. And he says, yes, babe, of course. I'm going to go to bed soon so I can be ready. And she says, you guys, this is crazy. And she says, so now they aren't coming, ? I'm in bed now. And he says, are we still leaving at 9:30? And she says, we could leave at 10. He says, I don't know. I'll do whatever. I'll go either way. If they go or don't. And 9:30, 10, it doesn't matter. And she says, it takes about 45 minutes. So do you want to just leave at 9 and get there by 10 if they don't go? And he says, we'll still have like all day. And she said, or should we just plan on leaving at 9:30? You pick the time. And he says, does it open at 10? She says, and that's it, I think. So then the next, wait, when's this? So that was on the 15th at 11:01 p.m. The next message is on 5/16 at 3:29 p.m. So I guess they only talked on the phone. So then she says, I'm leaving. He says, I'm looking for you, babe. Babe, I'm coming. She says, I want to leave. He says, we can leave. She says, I want to, but I don't want to. Oh my gosh, you guys. He says, let's go out to eat. Let's stay then. And she said, I don't want to be by any of you guys there. though. And he says, I've been running around like a maniac for you. I want to have fun with you. I made a mistake with the cup. That shit wasn't purposely. I'm almost there, babe. And she says, you can bring the food up if you want to eat with me. You can pick the food up if you want to eat with me. And then sends like a side happy face. And he says, my shit is too messy. This is at 10:19 p.m. And then he says, unlock your car. So wait, you guys, that was at 10 o'clock at night. The next text message is the next day. So 5/17/21 at 7:21 a.m. Unlock your car. He says, unlock. She says, unlock. Let me know if you find it. Maybe it's in my room. You find it? Question mark. He said, I got it. And then she sends a picture. He says, you want another kissy before I dip? Oh, God, kissy. She says, yes. He says, okay, babe. I'm waiting. And then sends a picture. Oh, God. And she says, aw, babe. You guys, they hated each other yesterday. And then he says, I didn't expect you to respond, LOL. And she says, babe, look at my shorty, or look at my story, sorry. And then he has a picture, it's him and her, that I guess, what's on you? I hit him up. She says, oh God, okay, good. Nug, they call each other Nugget. And then she sends like the lion with the eyes with hearts. And he says, hey babe, at 1:00 p.m. She says, look what I just found on Depop. And then sent, oh, they are nice. They're sneakers. And then he says, they real? Question mark. She says, I don't know. That's why I sent them to you. And he says, I'll check them out. She says, it's nice out. Do you still have it at your house? I'm going to come tan over there. He says, have what? I was about to go to Jared's and shoot. Let me see if he still wants to. And she says, go do that then. He says, is that okay, baby? And she sends a link and then says, LOL. He sends, I don't know if that's like I don't know, but it's a bunch of numbers. And he says, oh, my babe's little voice. And then she sends something, but it's redacted. And he says, I wanna. And she says, ha, 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 I'm doing my nails for you, babe. He says, what are you doing? And she says, doing my toes. Ew, you guys, you have to see. Oh, my God, I have to show you guys. Oh, my God. And then he says, like, what color or design? And she says, Mimsy just got out of surgery. And he says, how's she doing? She says, my mom's getting her now. She's home. She's in a lot of pain. He said, let's give her weed, Dom says. She says, I don't know. He says, she'll be fine either way. Mackenzie says, the person's trying to get me to buy flowers. He says, on Insta? Probably a scam. She says, yes. I'm effing with them. He says, that's a good scam. We should do that to girls you don't like. Aw. She says, can you get me a face cream on the way home from Jared's? My mom's being a bitch and won't go get it. And then she says, imagery, is it going to rip my damn vagina off my body? What? What? Imagery, is it going to rip my damn vagina off my body? I already pulled the F out of it. Okay, don't hit me up for the rest of the tan. Oh, tan. He says, sorry, we was carrying all the guns back. What? She says, if you could be dry as shit and ignore my phone call, then just don't text me back. So you guys, dry as shit means when somebody doesn't text back right away, or if he doesn't answer all of her questions or doesn't write enough. That's what she means by dry. He says, and now we're at 8:35 at night. He says, but okay. And she says, Like, I love how you don't even answer any of the effing shit I ask you. Either you just say okay, like you say you're gonna change and then you just do the same shit. And he says, what face cream do you need? You guys, seriously, I have to be honest. Like, oh my God, can you guys not see anything? Yeah, her JJ doesn't matter anymore. Oh wait, yes, maybe you can. Okay, hopefully you guys can see everything and everything's going good. But yeah, I don't know about the vajayjay. I don't know. That's weird, no? I don't understand it, you guys. My God. All right, let me keep going. He says, what face cream do you need? And where do I get it? She says, just don't even effing try. He says, okay, I'm going to figure out what it is and get it. The stores are closed, babe. Do you want to use my face cream? I don't know if that's the one you need or if it will work. And then he says, good night, babe. I love you. Aw. Oh, wait, that's weird. So the last text was, or if it will work, was at 9:30 at night. Then the next text is on 10:18 at 10:46 a.m. And he said, oh, good morning, babe. I love you. Sorry. And then he says, come, I'm home. I need to grind bud. That's the main thing. And she writes, aw, babe, Mallory want to hang with when Blair comes. And he says, well, you're not here. She says, I'm going to give you the 20 because she's taking $15 off of my nails. And then she says, is that okay, babe? And he says, she should take 20 off. Those are worth 24, 25. She says, I told her 15 a while ago, so I'll pay you 20. He says, just give her the fatter one for 10. It's still a deal. And she says, babe, we smoked one together. And she has the other one. Babe, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. Or just ignore me. And then a bunch of question marks. And then another text, a bunch of question marks. And that was at 5:04. Wait, when did she start that? 5:01. You guys, God forbid, he doesn't answer. So she starts freaking out at 5:01, and at 5:04, she gets crazy. And then he says at 5:04, yeah, she can have both. I don't care. Sorry, I was talking to this kid about the studio. She says, I smoked with Bessie, and now she's being like so slow. And then he says, that's tough. Mallory broke up with Blair, I guess. And then Mackenzie says, oh my God, oh shit, she's texting me. He says, maybe she didn't. Might just be capping. And she says, nah, I don't know if she did. She might have. He says, who knows? Blair seemed chill, so I don't know. She says, tell Blair to go back to the effing house. Mallory's waiting there to talk, and Blair needs to go back there right now. Tom says, this Ryder kid's here. Mackenzie says, who even is that? And then he says, he's gone. It's our engineer. She says, oh. And then sends a picture of her nails still. Wow, that's like the longest nail session. Holy shit. And then he says, only that is done. And then she sends her toes. Blech. And then he says, just pink, question mark? And she says, no. He said, I figured. So then she sends nails again. And he says, what else you getting on it, babe? She said, sends a few things, but nothing goes, like they don't have anything there. And then same thing for him. That's weird. And then he says, mushrooms, question mark. Ooh. He said, I'm going to go smoke with Trevor and Bartula. I haven't seen Bartula in a while. She sends something, but it's redacted. Oh, and then she sends, you guys, what's that sign when it's a circle? Oh, no, I don't know what that is. It's like a circle and then an arrow at like 1 o'clock pointing up. And he says, are we doing anything? Because Blair said everyone might come over. And she said, who? I'm down to do anything. He said, I don't know. Maybe that's why Mallory thought she was coming over. But I'm about to go home. She says, hit me up and see what's up. He says, fasho. I'm home now. She says, want to come over? He says, and then she says, or do you want me to come over there? He says, I don't know. You want to just wait to see what they say first? Because everyone will probably chill at my house if we do. And then he says, okay, we not Lincoln. And then she says, who? FaceTime me. And then that was at 9:40. Oh, still 9:40. He says, so I'll do whatever. I'm kind of tired though. She says, just call me back after you eat. And he says, yeah, sorry, they kept talking. She says, do you want to go canoeing today? I have 3 colors. This is at 9:14 a.m., so it's the next day. And then she writes canoe again. And he says, where do you want to go? I slept so shitty. And then she says, Wallace Lake or something? He says, yeah, I'm down, babe. Can we smoke? I don't want to go in the water, though. She says, Mrs. Hassan is making us do this dumb ass basket weaving. He says, it'll probably still be super cold. She says, literally look up basket weaving. He says, okay, I will. She says, you always say the water's going to be cold and then we don't swim all year. So you can be like that if you want. And he says, we're going canoeing, not swimming. Okay, I'll swim in the cold ass water. And she says, Dom in capital letters. And then she says, why do we need to choose if we're swimming? If we're swimming or not. Why can't we just be spontaneous? Why does it always have to be an effing plan? I'm going back to class. And he says, LOL, you took that way too serious. I'm going to start being spontaneous and fun when you stop giving me shit for everything, like you holding a grudge on me. She says, what? He says, never mind. Love you. She says, love you too, Nug. After school, we're all going canoeing. You can invite whoever. Megan, Hallie, Maddie are all going. I have to do this effing presentation with Megan right now. I'm KILLINGing myself. He says, Bet, should we bring Henny? And do I gotta wear a swimsuit? She says, you ready? Soon. And then he says, I gotta meet this kid at 3. Then I'll be ready. She says, babe, we getting everyone right now. He says, okay, I'm giving this kid one last chance, LOL. She writes question marks. What the F? You're really going to just like walk home. You're for real weird. Like, okay, Dom, go choose to walk home. You just messed up, by the way. And he puts question marks. Should I not leave? I'm soaked in the lake water and my house is like a 5-minute walk. And she says, okay, cool. Clearly you want to go home. Whatever, Dom. And he says, I want to shower and get some clothes on. I'll take like 1 second. I can come right back and have a car. Shouldn't be an issue. I need some food. You want to get some after I shower? I left my keys there. And then she says, oh my God, you guys, if that was reversed and that was her taking that long, he would have freaked out. She doesn't even answer for a good 20 minutes. And she says, do you want Chinese? Are you coming? Dom, question marks. And then he says, literally, oh, that's like a good 15 minutes or so. What weed should I bring for backwood? She says, just get out the shower. I'm about to come soon. Oh, I'm just getting out of the shower. I'm about to come soon. And he says, what bud? GZ or Zookie? And she says, I don't care. I'm a come. You ready? And he says, yeah. Can you bring me my keys? And she says, already left. I can turn around now. Oh, hold on, Thor. Hold on, you guys. Thor's calling. Hold on, Thor. No comment. Wait, door. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. Wait, let me take another sip of my drink before I sit down. Bird's looking at me like, are we going up? No, we're not going up there. Mama's doing story time. Sorry. Okay. This case is insane. I feel bad for the family too. I think this whole thing is crazy. Crazy. I can't see anything when I come back over, which is actually pretty funny. So I'm just going to keep going. Oh, you want to watch my expressions? You should have just said something. Hold on, Barb. Give me like 2 minutes and I'll put it back up. But yeah, I will. I didn't know. I feel so bad for his family too. I really do. All right, I think Thor is good. All right, hold on 1 second. I'll put my face back up. 1 minute. Oh, you want to see too because they're cracking you up? You guys, I do make the weirdest faces. All right, here we go. Face is back. Hi, guys. I'm sorry. I didn't even realize my face wasn't on there. Then she says, I already left. I can turn around now. Babe, where'd you go, babe? No, you smoked with wood in my wood or something, I see. And then she corrects it and says, I mean without me. And he said, babe, I told you I was leaving. I'm sorry, babe. I had to watch the Lakers game. It was a big game. And she says, babe, he says, I sat there and rubbed your back and shoulders while you were sleeping, though, till I left. And she says, babe, I want you. Cuddle. And he says, babe, I'm sorry. I'm in bed. It was 1 a.m. And then she says, why was it green? He says, my phone died. And then he says, and had to keep watching the Lakers. She says, Paul and Mizzy fought when I went to the bathroom wall while I was in the bathroom. And then she said, well, and he says, bro, what the F? And she says, I know. Low key, I think it's Mim. He says, their fights are vicious. Oh, meanwhile, are you serious, you guys? They're dead right now, talking crap on another couple that was there, saying that their fights are vicious, as opposed to your fights, Mackenzie. I don't know. Mackenzie says, and this is still at 1 o'clock in the morning. She says, because when I pick up Flavio, she literally was shaking. You guys, that's so weird. So her friend Flavio, I have a cousin named Flavia, and everybody's like, I never heard that. So that's cool. So then she writes PWAV, whatever that is. And he says, I think Mim gets scared. And then he says, when they fight, Mackenzie says, I don't know. I effing hate it. You guys, the lack of insight is astounding. Right? And then he says, toothpick in my foot, question mark, exclamation point. And then she sends something and then says, so effed. KMS. What's KMS? Keep me, I don't know. And then he sends things that they redact, same with her. Oh, I wish I knew what they said. And then he says, love you. That was at 8. So now we're at 5:20. So May 20th, 2021 at 8:42 a.m. He says, love you. How's school, babe? And she says, it's okay. I had to do this whack-ass haircut and I effed it up so bad. And he says, on who? She said, myself. I did face hair. Her hair is effed. And Dom says, oh, I thought it'd be on someone else. LOL. And then she sends a picture of the girl sitting on the floor in front of the lockers. And she says, I feel bad. She's literally crying. Oh my God, you guys, she took a picture of her sitting on the floor crying in front of the lockers. What? And then he says, I feel bad, but that's honestly funny as F. And then Mackenzie says, Mrs. Hassan is so mad. What are you doing? And he says, I just got up. I watched the game till late. You know? And she says, are you just in bed? And he says, no, I'm up now. I'm at my house on the toilet. She says, cute. And he says, and smelly. When does school end for you? Like, when is your last day? She says, Polaris, June 3rd. And high school is like next week. And he says, aw, that's illy. And she says, I love you, nug nug. And he says, I love you too, babe. And she says, I love you, babe. He says, I love you, babe. Oh my gosh. And then he sends her a picture of text messages. And then he says, me and my mom, $17K each. Wait, what? Me and my mom, $17K each. And Mackenzie says, oh, that would be so cool. Or even you could put the pool that you had at your house that we have in the ground. Oh, I guess for like an in-ground pool. And he says, nah, I'd rather just get a nice one. What do you think, in my yard or my mom's? And she says, probably yours. Wait, you have hella space. Honestly, I don't know. And he says, yeah, I'd rather have it at my house. She says, it would be so cool. He says, right. Also, Doggy has a pool he could probably let us use. She says, don't y'all have beef with him? And he said, nah, we just don't F with his chickens or his girlfriend. And then he says, Doggy's cool. Oh my gosh, you guys. And then he says, LOL. She says, I'm going shopping for summer clothes today. He says, okay, bae. She says, I have no cute tops. My whole something is just out. And he says, bruh, for real? That's why I don't like some of them shirts. Oh, she says her whole bra's out. That's what she was saying. She said my whole TIT was just out. And he said, bruh, for real? That's why I don't like some of them shirts. And she writes laugh out loud in caps. He says, if someone's seen your tit, I gotta fight them now. And she said, it was just me. Only me in the hall. In the hall, that means she's at school. He says, oh, okay, good. She says, and it was only the side. Oh, guess side boob. He says, oh, no nip. Yeah, I don't want no weird dude watching cameras seeing that. I'll have to fight him too. And she says, no nip, babe. He laughs out loud. She sends a pic. He sends something back, and then he says, eat some fruit. Get vitamins. She said, can I sell my friend some bud? Or do you want to? I have a really bad headache, but they need it. Dom? And he says, hey, babe. This is at 11:12 a.m. He says, I'm going to get a nose piercing. And she says, no way. Hi, babe. And he says, yeah, Tupac has one, so I might as well. Oh, stop it now. You mean Tupac had one? He said Tupac has one, so I might as well. I can't stop it. She says, hi, babe. Get one. You would look hot. I want a matching, baby, yay. A matching tat. And then she writes, Nuggy, Nug. They call each other Nugget. He says, bet Nuggy. And she says, a little tat. And he says, what are you doing, babe? She says, tannin. And then sends him a picture of her tannin right there. And then he says, aw, cute. I'm making bug bread. He's making bug bread. She says, what's that? He said, I'm making mandu. And then he says, money. And then she says, oh, I'm still tanning. And he says, nice. He says, don't get sick. She says, I'm about to go in 1 second. He says, okay. She says, Hallie wants to go to hell. He says, that'd be a lot. And then he says, I meant lit. She says, or Edgewater. And then she says, apparently there's a beach party. She can't spell apparently. Apparently she can't spell apparently. But she meant, apparently there's a beach party. And he says, who's throwing it? I'm down. I just got sales. She says, I don't know. I'm about to get Nat. Babe, come out. Ringwater. He says, bruh, Kyle right now said he had to be on the road at 12:30, not go to breakfast. Then I was tripping. He texts me. I text him and he hasn't texted me back. She says, bruh, so should we just not go? Like, what the F? And he says, yeah, so I'm going to just shower in a sec. I don't care. Just go get ready. Then we can go out to breakfast. And she says, bruh, please don't take 10 hours. And then she says, bruh, you are taking so long. What the F? Me and Hallie are literally both ready. You got ready slower than 2 girls. And he said, I was talking to Kyle McCarthy. And she says, literally, just don't come to the zoo. And he says, it's been 40 minutes. Oh, it's been 40 minutes since you dropped me off. Glad to know you don't want me to come. And she says, how the F are you literally just going to ignore all of my calls? Like, what the F? Like, how the F do you think we're just not going anymore? Are you stupid? And he said, no, I thought if I was late, you'd just go to breakfast. And it only took me a while because hella hair came out of my head. I was in the shower for only 20 minutes. And she says, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And he says, what? And she says, bruh, I don't even want to go anymore. I'm so annoyed. Literally, what the F? And he says, why? And she said, you literally must be brain dead if you don't know why. And he says, I'm literally ready. You didn't tell me to be ready at any time. When I got out of the car, I thought y'all was going to breakfast. Then I met y'all after for the zoo. She writes O space M space G, all in caps. Literally, then don't come then. Why is everything like this? Why can't it be easy? And he says, it can be easy. You can just pick me up and we can go laugh out loud. And she says, it's never easy. You always have to make it a 38-step process. And he says, no, it was a 1-step process. She says, we could have literally woke up and went to breakfast, got ready, and then went. But you had to squeak Kyle in there, and you ended up not even doing it. And he said, you dropped me off. And she said, it's effing annoying. Stop trying to act like you're right. And he says, bruh, neither of us are right. There is no right in the situation. And she says, no, I'm right because I dropped you off. I told you to be ready before 12:30 so we can all go to breakfast. I told all of you that, but of course you don't remember. And he said, I didn't get that. Well, I'm ready though. And she says, oh my God. She wrote it out. He says, right at 12:30. I didn't know I had to be ready by then. I thought that was just for Kyle, but okay. This is why I need an exact plan of what's going on and why I have you tell me exactly what to do. Because if we just go with the flow, it's always a fight. And she says, I need to explain it to you like you're literally a disabled little 5-year-old. And he says, wow, thanks, babe, LOL. She says, on the way, bring a cart. Oh, I would have told her to go scratch. He says, oh, so now I'm coming? should I just bring Blackwoods and weed? And she says, I'm 1 minute away. And he says, I'm grabbing a cart real quick. She says, come now, I'm here. And he said, okay, I'm coming. I couldn't find a battery. So I brought a luster pod. Should I grab weed? And she says, bruh, I don't care. Just come out. And he says, Fash. She says, you can't make decisions for yourself. F. And he says, my swim trunks smelled, so I just put them in the wash. Okay, wait. I knew that there had to be something here. So that was on 5/22 at 12:49 p.m. They must have spent the day together. And the next message is the next morning on the 23rd at 9:46. He says, my swim trunks smelled, so I just put them in the wash. They'll be done before 12, though. And she says, that's fine. He says, okay. She says, babe, I'm really sad. I can't find my bikini top. I haven't brought it yet, but I need to find one online. And he said, I want to go buy more swim trunks. She says, I want a cute swimsuit, a nice one. I feel like I only have shitty swimsuits. I only have one really nice one or two. Okay, we're in charge of the alcohol and water bottles and soda. And he says, tell Blair to bring weed then. And she writes, laughing my ass off. And he says, do it. She says, I can't just say that to Mallory. I get scared. And he says, just ask them why are we in charge of alcohol? Because I'm not pouring them up or nothing. And I don't know how they expect me to get any. And she says, are you in a bad mood or something? He says, nah, that shit dead though. You don't agree? I'm going to go to breakfast with Kyle McCarthy. Bruh, of course, I go next door and Trove has to start talking about demons. Trove, his brother, Chris, is schizophrenic and he sometimes has psychosis. She says, oh my gosh, can I come too? And he said, I'll ask. She said, you'll ask? ? And he said, I asked right now. She says, Troford's so weird. I'm so sorry, babe. And then she said, why is your mom even letting him over there? And then he says, I know, like, I'm like salty right now. I don't know. And she said, like you always say, don't let that affect you, babe. We're going to have a fun day. I invited Kyle and Kristen. Maybe they're going to come too. Is that a good idea? He says, my washer machine is flooding my basement. And then sends a text message, like a picture of a message. And then he says, and I don't even want to chill with him right now. You can be on no sus shit towards my girl. I should punch that mother effer. She said, babe, that's a good thing because they all like me because of you. And then he sends an attachment again of a text message. And he says, nah, I'm shutting down that weird shit. And she said, I love when you get defensive. It's hot as F. And he said, like for real, I'll jaw that. Oh, I don't like that word, the F word. She says, you don't have to do that, babe. I'm not too worried about him. What's the plan, babe? And he says, I don't know. My washer machine is broke. And now I don't want to text back Kyle. She says, how did it even break? He says, I don't know. My whole floor is covered in water though. And she says, oh my effing God. Do you want me to come help or anything? And he says, right now, I'm just mad. I want food, but I don't want to go eat with Kyle. And then my washer broke. Now my floor is covered in water. I think my mom fixed it. And then Mackenzie says, good. Dom says, nah, for real. Like Kyle can't be saying nothing. Like I almost just want to ignore him and not chill with him. Mackenzie says, babe, I don't think he was trying to be weird at all. And Dom says, nah, it wouldn't have been if he was weird before. She says, true. And then she says, we low-key need to figure out breakfast soon, though, because we're leaving at 12. And he says, not if my trunks ain't done. She says, I'm a B. I knew this was going to be difficult. I will go buy you effing some trunks right now. I will go to the mall right now and buy you some. And he said, I can't control when my washer machine decides to flood my basement. If you want to. And she says, how long till they're done? Do you want me to go right now? And he said, I have no idea what's going on for real. If you want to. And she said, we're going to Mentor Headlands at 12 o'clock, if that's what's happening. And then she says, are you a medium? And he said, let me check. Probably. She says, okay, pay me back for them because I'm going to have my mom give me money for them because I don't have money. And he says, okay, of course. And she says, love you, babe. Do you have any colors that you want? And he says, people can't be making me tweak out. And she says, any colors, question mark? And he said, I don't give an F about demons. And she says, exactly. And he says, I don't care. You'll know what to get. And she says, I love you, babe. And then he starts sending more pictures of messages. And she writes, oh my God, I'm out of the mall here, babe. And he says, do we have towels? She says, no, I can get some now. I can leave now. And he said, I'm taking a shit, but yeah, I'm ready. Besides that, I just trying to figure out what all we need. And she said, I have everything we need. He said, what we going to smoke out of? Because I can't wash backwoods. And she said, in a water bottle? He said, also, do we bring alcohol? She says, babe, can you just please hurry up? I don't know. Tell me now. And he said, yeah, I'm hurrying. She said, please, just give me these answers. I'm trying to leave my house so we could go. And he said, okay, don't bring alcohol. Bring an old water bottle and bring my Blackwoods and trap phone. It should all be there. Ooh, his trap phone? Is that a burner phone, I'm assuming? She says, you can't do it in a plastic water bottle. And he says, I can. Just don't bring like a fresh one, or I definitely have one here we can bring. She says, bruh, bring the face wash. I have a nail appointment today. Oh, wait, let me go back and see. That was at 12:35. That's still at 12:35. So now it does go to the next day. So on 5/23/21 at 6 o'clock p.m., she says, bring the face wash. I have a nail appointment today. Oh, wait. She said, bring the face wash, and they must have slept over because now it's the next day. It's the 24th at 2:37 p.m. when she says, I have a nail appointment today. Then she says, somebody's doing her nails. Somebody is doing her nails done by me. Huh? And then Dom says, you're doing someone's nails, question mark? And she said, yes. Dom says, I got a doctor appointment for my ankle at 3. That's lit though. Keep doing nails. Get good at it. She says, I'm going to. I'm really excited. And he says, that's great, babe. I'm really proud of you. What are you doing, babe? I passed your house earlier. Are you doing someone's nails still? And she said, yes, I am. And he says, is it going good? I made a good amount of money today. And she said, I did her nails so effing good. And he said, let me see a pic. And then she says, okay, that was on the 24th at 7 o'clock at night. Now it's the 25th at 6 a.m. She says, hi, babe. He says, hey, babe, love you. And she says, love you, Nug. And he says, what are you doing? Finals, question mark? And she said, I don't have any finals today. Can I come get Bud after? Hello? After Polaris? And he said, what time? She says, 11. He said, bet. She said, I'm about to come. He said, okay, I'm about to take a shit. Just come in and grab what you want. And she said, okay, Nug. I need 2 carts. And he said, okay, where are you? And she said, Leah's boyfriend is about to come over, laughing my ass off. And he said, hell nah. She said, he's being mean to her. And he said, I'll come work it out. Wait, I'll come work the F out of him. She said, no, why? And he said, because he threatened you. She said, babe, it was 2 years ago. And he said, I don't care. I'll have Angelo come. We'll make him a puddle. And she said, no, babe, it's all good. And he says, is he coming inside or just to pick Leah up? And she said, he's getting her, but he's going to come inside for a little bit. But if you don't want him to, that's okay. I don't care. And Dom says, yeah, I'm fed. I don't want that kid around you. I should try pulling up, really. And she said, what the? No, babe. Literally, don't. It would just start drama when it was such old business, or such old beef. She corrected herself. He says, you can't threaten a female like that kid bitch made. I don't care when it was. You feel? He'll never have my interest. And if he says or does anything, I'm going to pull up with Angelo. Angelo's his brother. She says, he's not coming. Don't worry, babe. I love you. And he said, okay, love you too. I don't believe you, but okay. And she says, why the F would I just lie to you about him picking her up? I don't have the same habits as you, babe. Huh? She says, old ones at least. I'm a loyal ass babe, and I love you. And you know that. I love my nuggie. And he says, because you don't want me to come to work with him, but okay. I just want to protect you. I'm protective over my females. You could probably assume why. She says, and I want you to keep being protected, babe. I just don't want to start drama because I don't want to jeopardize a friendship with Leah. Like, he dead ass won't let Leah hang with me. He's controlling his F. I'll call you when she leaves. And he says, maybe if I smack the F out of him, he will. She says, babe, he says, I just won't go to Naples. And she said, why? Go. He said, nah, because I'm not going to make him drive an hour there to tell him just to go home. Mackenzie says, I'm with Lincoln still, too. She's coming, too. He can come. And then Dom says, half hour. And then she says, come too. And he said, I already told him I can't because I said I'd link with Kyle at my house when I'm back. So I'd have to do both. He's being a little bitch anyway. Mackenzie says, babe, where are you? So are you coming over? He says, yeah. Let me go to my crib. And she said, bet. He says, bet. She said, sus. He said, what? She said, where you at, babe? He said, my house with Kyle. When do you want me to come? She says, soon. Where you at? Question mark, question mark. He said, soon. She said, I'm waiting to open the bottle till you're here. He said, LOL, bet. You up, babe? And this was at 10 p.m. He said, I can come soon. I'm going to stay and watch the Lakers game. And she said, come. He said, babe, it's already 11:30. She said, fine. He said, sorry, babe, the Lakers were on. And then she sends in 2 attachments. Then he sends something too. There's like 3 of them. And he says, I love you, babe, at 7:21 a.m. He said, I need my phone. I guess his burner phone. She says, it's at my house, Nug. You can get it. I'm already on the way to Players. And he said, I know, babe. Okay, babe. She says, I'm doing Gracie's hair today. LOL. He says, LOL, what are you doing? She says, I'm giving her a blowout and washing her hair. And he says, that's what's up. And then she sends a picture. She said, this is crazy. He said, I don't see the 3. Pretty cool, though. She says, when you learn how to focus, maybe we can FaceTime more. But from now on, I'm done FaceTiming you. You're not even going to be like, why you hang up? Like, you can be single if you want. And he said, I answered your FaceTime in the middle of my conversation with Bradbury. And it was an important conversation about money. You're welcome for your bong. She said, you could have the bong back if you want it. I don't give an F who you were talking to, buddy. He said, so no matter who I'm talking to, I should just drop my conversation to talk to you? What if it's my mom? She said, and this is when I'm done with this conversation. He said, what are you actually mad about, babe? What's bothering you? She said, you're talking about shit that has nothing to do with this situation. No, babe, just go cuddle Kyle and Brandy. Go cuddle Kyle and Bradbury. It sounds so fun. I'm so proud of you. He said, actually, we're talking about investing large amounts of money. What if I FaceTime you in Polaris and you got mad and then got mad when you couldn't respond? Or FaceTime you in the middle of someone's nails and said, no, you may not talk to them. She said, well, you're out to eat with your friends and players at school, so it's kind of like two different stories completely. He says, it'd be unreasonable. She says, it's okay, babe. I know you won't stop doing a lot of things for me. It's okay. You can just eat your food and have fun. Goodbye. He said, actually, I do it all the time, but okay. Let me know when you want to talk, babe. I know you're actually mad about something else, not me, because that wasn't something to get mad at. If you really break up with me over that, then do it, because I would never, in caps. So I'm glad you feel good, babe. You want to go call my dude trying to get an Airbnb? Wait, what? He said, you want to go to Cali, my dude trying to get an Airbnb. Of course she answers then and says yes. And he says, bet. Why were you so mad earlier, babe? I'm up like 12 grand in stocks. And she said, I'm still mad. He said, you're definitely also mad about something else. What else is wrong? She said, I'm not. He says, okay, let me know if you want to hang out today. She said, when? He said, I'll be home in 20, so whenever. She says, from where? He said, I don't have much to do. And then he says, Oberlin. Had sale. She said, I'm tired and hungry. He says, I'm tired as F too. She says, maybe we can go get food somewhere. He says, I was just thinking that. Smoke the new bong and then go to the movies or get Olive Garden. And she says, I'm down. I'm doing a photo shoot at 6 for senior pictures. He says, your pics or someone else's? She said, no, I'm just meeting with a guide to see where I'm taking these pictures. He's taking free senior pictures for me. I'm going to be an ambassador. And he says, that I don't know exactly what that means. So when would we hang? And she says, we can hang right now before 6. He says, okay, so we don't have time for a movie. So where should we get food? And she said, Rosewood or Olive Garden? He said, both sound good. She says, you pick. He says, Olive Garden. I just eat apps, so maybe Rosewood. But I make better steaks than theirs. So I'd probably get a burger or something. She said, or you can get steaks and we can make them here. I hate when they like talk in the same house. It's so weird. He says, babe, I thought I was coming over. Oh, maybe not. He says, I'm at the bank. I'll be home in a sec. She said, you can. We can either go out to eat or we could just make steaks and make them here. And he said, are you at my house? She says, no, question mark. He said, oh, you said here. Oh my God, I picked up on that too, you guys. She said, why, question mark. And then she said, oh. And he emphasized here. And he says, laugh out loud. He said, read it wrong. She said, so which one do you want to do? He said, I made steaks the other day. Maybe let's go out to eat or I can make burgers or something. I want to make some gas burgers. And she said, I hate burgers. He said, oh, for real? She said, when do I ever eat them? They make my stomach hurt. He said, okay, let's go to Rosewood then. I feel like everything makes my stomach hurt. Probably same with you. She said, yeah, ha, 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 for real. So come over then right now. Come over. He says, okay, let me see what money I have on me. Then I'll grab some bud and I'll be over. And then he says, I got babe a new baby bong. She says, I'm really happy about the new baby. I love you. Thank you, Nug. And he says, no problem, babe. I love you. It's for both of us anyway, because then I can clean that bitch good as F and we'll always have a clean bong for your house. Oh, that's probably the one she's always smoking. And then she sends something, but it's redacted. And he says, we should like tell your mom that we're having a baby. Be like, we made the decision. She said, oh God, where you at? And he said, pulling up. Then for pulling up, I forgot my weed. And then he said, on the way in a second. She says, okay, bet. He says, where you at, babe? She said, just call. I just woke up. Okay, so they must have hung out, and now it's the next day at 10. Oh no, that's 10 p.m. We're still on the same day. Oh gosh. She said, I just woke up. And he said, I made part of a song. It's pretty good. And she said, show me. I'm about to go to sleep. And she said, you're so cute. He said, I will when I get back to it. Yeah, it's still for fun right now. But if I get good, I'll drop stuff. And she said, send it. And then he sends an attachment. And he says, it's not done, but it got some good sound. She sends, that's good as F. He's good as F. And he says, LOL, we need Ryder in this bitch. Make me sound good. She said, it's dope as F. So Mallory's texting me about me, you, and Blair and her going to the party like this weekend. So now it's 11 a.m. the next day. He says, yeah. She says, and I know Haley and Megan are going to probably want to come. And I invited Kendra and Lincoln. So we're going to need to travel in 2 cars or maybe more. And he says, I guess it's ghetto AF. And she said, I know it is, but it's going to be so fun. And he said, I know, I'll just be worried. That one girl got punched at the other party. That shit's effed up. And she says, I doubt it'll happen to any of us. I doubt it will happen to any of us. It will happen to anyone. It will be Megan. And he said, still though. She says, we're going. He said, I know. She said, it's okay, babe. No one will get hurt. I don't have school today. And he said, I got this doctor appointment like at 1 or something. Babe. She says, babe. He says, my $17,500 is now $35,000. She said, what? He said, this is only the beginning. She said, oh my God, my heart is racing. I'm so proud of you, babe. You are a smart babe. He said, I might make like $100,000 off of this. I'll say I'll at least make $80,000 and take home like $40,000. She said, holy shit, that's wild. He said, right? I know how crazy it can go. I'm like 20 grand right now almost. She said, yeah, that's effing wild. You know what you're doing. And he said, I'd say I should make at least 40K profit after taxes. I tried to get your mom on it too. She can still get on if she wants. And then Mackenzie says, are you going to put some of that 40K back in? He said, I'll definitely put my profits in other things. She says, okay, good. What are you doing right now? Ellie wants to hang at 2, and I want to hang with you too. He says, I have a doctor's appointment at 2. Right now, I'm just at the house. She says, do you want me to come over or do you want to come over here? He says, when? She said, right now. He said, oh, I don't know. I still got to get dressed and brush my teeth. She says, let me know. I got a 79 on my English final. He said, that's good AF. She said, so I passed English. He said, I seen your story. That's great, babe. She said, isn't that crazy? He said, yeah, how'd you get an 80 laughing my ass off? Teacher must have hooked it up. I'll probably just come over because I want to hit the bong. I'd have to be at your house by 12:45 though. Oh, dip your house at 12:45 though. She said, let me know, babe. Oh. And he says, what, babe? She said, let me know if you want to come. And he said, I'm about to get ready and come, babe. She said, okay, little nug, when do you have to leave my house? And he said, like 1:40 or 1:45. She says, okay, hurry. And then sends the koala emoji with like the head explosion. He says, coming, babe. She said, yay. That was at 1:10. Meanwhile, he had to leave at 1:45. Then at 1:30, he says, I finished my 20K conversation. You get mad. You don't let me finish sentences. So I get mad. Then you get mad because I got mad. She said, you don't have to be mean. He said, I didn't, but I was super hurt because the other day you asked me if I didn't want a girlfriend because I finished my sentence to Bradbury about the $20,000 investment. I wouldn't answer the phone in the middle of a lunch to anyone but you. And she said, are you sleeping over? Okay, that was at 1:30. And then at 8, at around 9 o'clock, she says, are you sleeping over? And then she says, okay. And you're coming tomorrow too, right? He says, yeah, I'm coming. I'm going to just sleep here so I can get up and shower. I'll be there by 9, right? And she said 8. He said, okay, babe. Should I just not shower or what? She said, you could come at like 8 or 8:30. The earlier, the better, though. He says, okay. She said, if you want to shower, you can. He said, what? She said, you can shower if you want. What are you wearing today? He said, I can wash my hair then. I don't know. She said, and do you want to know how effing aware of my surroundings I am? Literally crazy. In the middle of the night, I woke up. I wasn't wearing anything and had to pee. And then I realized I had a nail off and I found it like ASAP. My body woke up when the nail came off. Oh my God, you guys. He says, you think you just felt it break and then woke up? She said, no, dude, no clue. Do you like not get call notifications or something? He said, I do. I'm about to shower. She said, oh, I'm excited. He said, I'm wearing my Kappa pants. Do I wear the white tank top or black? She said, oh my God, you guys, it's almost 12 o'clock. All right, I'm going to finish up in a minute. She says, white. He said, okay, bet. I'll be there at 8:30. She says, bet. That's perfect. Time. It gives me time to set up. He says, bet, because I would be there by 8, but I want this tank top and jacket to de-wrinkle. She said, you could do that at 8:30. It's an okay time. He says, bet. She said, I'm here. Let me know when you're on the way. He said, okay, babe, I'm going to leave at like 8:10. She says, okay. Let me know when you're close. He said, okay. Like when I turn on that road, ? She said, yes. He said, bet. On the road. She said, oh my God, okay. He said, I'm here. Do I just walk in front? She said, you walk in the student parking lot, and then sends a picture with the steps. And he said, I parked where I dropped you off. Meanwhile, that looks like a nice school. He said, I parked where I dropped you off. And she said, come to the student parking lot where you pick me up, not where you didn't half. And then she wrote, Dom, park there. Are you mad? ? I'm sorry, but you're worried about your hoodie getting wet when it's literally raining outside? And he said, I'm not mad. I was annoyed though when you got that lotion stuff in my hair. She said, whatever, Dom. And then she says, are you mad about some, oh, I don't like that word, RETAR, shit you knew you were getting a facial. Thank you for ruining my day. And he said, I just told you I'm not mad. She said, you didn't even say thank you to me. He said, you literally got mad at me for whipping the shit out of my eyes. He said, I'm sorry I forgot to say thank you. You did a good job, though. I was looking through old photos and look at what I found. And he sends her pictures. Oh, my God, look how young they are. Oh. And he sends her pictures. She says, only if you were in the mood during the facial. Only if you were in that mood during the facial. He said, we had fun most of the facial, babe. I need to trip some mushrooms. And she says, I'm down. He said, bet. She said, I'm kind of scared to do it again, though. Well, I'm down. He said, I want to find some good ones. She said, do you not have any more? I just don't want to tweak out like last time. That shit scared the F out of me. He said, when did you tweak out? She said, with Haley And when you would pick me up and my mom had to, when you wouldn't pick me up and my mom had to get me, he said, oh, I thought you meant with me. She said, no, I only have good trips when I'm with you. I think that at least. He said, you were microdosing then. That wasn't a good place. I realized you need to be outside. She said, true. I wasn't outside when I did it with you. He said, yeah, but it was like winter. Inside's still fun too. I think outside's best though. She said, I want a trip at the beach. He said, too many crops. She said, I'm upset with you. You knew how important and big this was to me, and you kind of just killed the whole vibe. And now this is not going to be a good memory. He says, babe, I really didn't do anything to you. I didn't yell at you or say anything mean. I was just getting annoyed. I had stuff in my hair. Oh my God, they're still talking about this. And my sweat jacket. My sweat jacket is still soaked too. I didn't want to make it bad at all. That's why I just kept saying it's fine. But you should understand where I'm coming from too. And she said, you knew you were coming to a facial. And who gives an F? It's a black sweatshirt. You can literally wash it. Like you literally made it so difficult and you knew I was so nervous and excited. He said, when I got home, I didn't care. She said, oh, so you only cared in front of all my friends. You only cared when you were there. And he said, when I had a wet sweat jacket on my neck, yeah, I did because I was uncorked. And then he said, I mean, uncomfortable. I wasn't even in front of your friends. And she said, well, people noticed. I don't care. You still ruined it for me. And he said, you ruined the facial for me. She said in capital letters, laughing my ass off. Don't text me. Go get a facial from a different bitch then if you're so special about your facial. Bye. And he says, you're saying I ruined it because I got upset when you got my hoodie soaked. So I said you ruined it because it would have been great if my hoodie wasn't soaked. You even said you forgot to tell me to take it off. What's the move? I'm about to be on the way back soon. She says, I don't know. We're just chilling. He says, bet. Let's smoke an 8 gram. What, 8 gram? I don't know if that's like a blunt. And then, he says, let's smoke 8 grams. And then he says, come. She says, I don't know if I could do all that. If you want to, though, I'm down. And the cones never even work. Oh, an 8 gram cone. He said, this one might. She said, I don't think it will. Send me a pic of it. He said, I'll show you when I see you. Kyle wants me to go to Square 22. She said, when? He said, I don't know, when I get back. I don't really care, though. I just want to chill with you. She said, I don't know. I'm already kind of tired, so it's up to you. He said, what do you want to do? I'm about to dip in a second. She said, I'm about to crash. He said, you want to just crash? I'll go chill with them. You still with Haley? She said, no, I want to come. He said, okay, come, babe. She said, I know, I'm just going to fall asleep. And then she sends him videos and then question marks. And he says, boiling. Wait, what? Boiling is the new thin. Oh, thing, he then wrote. He wrote hot water out of the sink. Wait, what? Hot water out of the sink would just be as good as that. And then he said, what do I do? And then he said, work. And she said, oh. He said, LOL, right? She said, people doing too much. He said, yeah, for some clout. Babe, the door is locked. I'm sad I didn't get to come over. Oh. She said, bruh. And she said, I'm sad. I was wondering why you didn't come cuddle. And he said, you come here. This was at 10 a.m. now. I'm tired. She's at 8 a.m., sorry. She says, you come, babe. He said, I got to go sail now, babe. And she says, gay. I hate when she says that. And then he says, what the something? She says, I'm just chilling in my room right now with a face mask on. It's a shitty ass day. He said, I know, right? Want a boon? like a bong or something? That'd be funny as F. Like a big one, though? She said, I don't want to have to just sit there and hold the bong the whole time, so I don't know. I was about to hit my bong. I want to do something. What if we went to get air? He said, me and Angelo and Blair would do it all the time. She said, or something like that. He said, getting air sucks. She said, okay. Smoking a bong and driving sucks. He said, oh, you have to hold it. And then she said, of course, you're mean. Just go do sales. He said, laugh out loud. You were mean first. Is your dad home? I want him to show me how to print on these hoodies. She said, yeah. My family wants to go see a movie. Do you want to go? He said, yes. When, babe? You want to do these hoodies too? She said, sure. Come bring carts for movies. He said, okay, when we going? She said, I don't know. He said, should I bring the hoodies too? She said, how many hoodies do you have? My dad wants to know. He said, I don't know, a couple different colors. And I got some pants. He said, don't bring them over. He's going to talk to you about it. He said, okay, for show. And then he said, do I got to wash them before I print? She said, we might go around too. I don't know. You don't. And he said, okay, let me brush my teeth and grab these carts. Then I just got to stop at Kyle's. Do you have a cart battery? She says, no. He said, I need one. She said, you know that. He said, we can go to Naples real quick and grab one. It's cool. I kind of want to go to the dispo and get another gas cart. She says, my mom just got an edible arrangement. Oh my gosh. He said, isn't that fruit? She said, yes. He said, laugh out loud. And then she says, where you at? He says, cleaning a little. About to brush my teeth right now. Then stop at Kyle's. Then I'll be there. She said, why? He said, needed to grab stuff. She said, oh. He said, on the way. She said, yay. Then he says, oh, they send stuff that's redacted. He says, here, babe. She says, come in. Why'd you dip? Like, I think I know why, but I want you to tell me why. He said, there was a stain on my shirt. I'm grabbing a new one. She said, oh. He said, why did you think I did? She said, I thought you got mad because the tank top fell on the ground and you got hair on it. He said, oh, same thing. Yeah, I was pissed. I got hair on it. But then it made me notice the stain. See, it's just like the king's thumb. She said, what? He said, never mind then. She said, okay, or be a dick and don't explain it. And he said, I told you the story about the king's thumb a dozen times, babe. I'm not going to text you the whole story. When are we going to the movies? She said, let me see. Right now. My mom is booking tickets for us right now. All of us are going. He said, question mark. She said, for the movie at 3:30? He said, bro, okay. I don't have a cart battery. She said, go get one. He said, and that's in a half hour. She said, I thought you did. I can go get one right now. He said, if you want to. She said, you can just go real quick. I feel like it would be quicker if you went. What are you doing now? He said, I'm at my house doing pull-ups. What? It's almost 3:00. She said, are you even going to be ready in time? I feel like you're not going to be ready. Where do you want me to get the battery from? Of course you have to be like this. I offered to go get you an effing battery instead of getting ready while you're just at home doing push-ups. And of course you act like that. Like, what the actual F? Do you even want to effing come? And he said, I said you can get me. I just said I don't know. She says, whatever, you can be ready at 3:15 or you can stay home. He said, anyways, gotta put me in such a rush and stress me out. Thanks. Like, why am I even doing pull-ups? Because I'm mad as F right now. She said, I'm not doing any of that, but okay. I'm simply just told you to be ready by 3:15. My mom told me when I was sleeping, and I got up and got ready like in 2 minutes. in 2 seconds. He said, 15 minutes is a rush, babe. Well, you're at your house. She said, I wasn't in a rush getting ready. He said, I'm not there. She said, where the F are you then? He said, I'm at my house. She said, whose house are you doing push-ups at? He said, I'm doing pull-ups. She said, brah, you're making no effing sense. He said, okay. She said, so are you going to be ready by then? He said, I might just not go because I don't want to be angry and ruin it. She said, oh my God, bro. And he said, what? And she said, can you effing figure it out so I can tell my mom to effing cancel it? Like, what the? And he said, we can't just go at 4. Okay. Instead of being in a huge rush. And she said, there's only 4:30 time. I want to have time to get Haley and get ready for the party tonight. Like, don't want to be at the effing movie all day. He said, I thought we weren't even going. Meanwhile, you guys, for once, I'm actually on her side with this. I even know that the movie started at 3:30. She said, no. And I don't know what that said. She said, what's happening, Dom? Like, are you okay? I swear to God, you forget everything that comes out of my effing mouth. He said, like, you forgot the story of the king's thumb. She said, I don't need to remember that. What the F? I'm going to focus on shit that matters to me. Well, she just said it right there, you guys, believe her. I'm glad you enjoy whatever that is. He said, if the only time was 3:30, why couldn't I have gotten told that earlier? Oh, she did. She says, okay, damn, just don't go. He said, okay. She said, you literally give up on everything anyway. So effing fast, it's depressing. He said, you just told me not to go. So we're just not going. She said, no, I effing canceled it. And he said, oh, okay. Do you want me to come over? She said, no. He said, do you still want to go to the party? She said, I'm going with Lincoln. He said, you don't want me to come? She said, thank you for your little care package. Oh, wait. So let me go back up. That was at 3:30 p.m. He said, so you don't want me to come with you right now? And then the next day, I'm going to try to finish it up to get to 6:1, and then hopefully that's not very long. It's like in a day. She said, thank you for your little care package. He said, love you, babe. She said, love you too. He said, if the party gets pooped, do you want to go to the beach? Like the post said. She said, laugh out loud. Yeah. Are you coming out the F? Like question mark? Where are you at? Okay. Where even are you? He said, downstairs. Why? I'm with Cam. She said, why? He said, I sent a snap. She said, why are you just sitting down there alone? He said, because I thought you were going to shower. You want me to come up? She said, you want Lincoln to come? He said, whatever you want, babe. She said, I'm asking you. He said, I'll have fun either way, babe. Why is it up to me? It's your friend, babe. She said, I'm wearing a tracksuit. He says, which one? This is the 30th. And then he says, Boone Backwood there? And she said, yes. My black one, probably. He said, do you think I need pants or should I wear shorts? She says, up to you. I get cold easy. He said, let me check the weather out there. It's going to be like 50 or 60. What do you think? I hate dressing when the weather's weird. She said, exactly. That's why I'm wearing my tracksuit. He said, I would just wear my tracksuit, but I like to wear them with slides. She said, it's up to you. And then sends an outfit. And I know that outfit anywhere from looking at her Instagram. That is a Skims outfit. It's a Skims dress. He says, oh, wait, we're up to 6:1, so I could stop. We are at 18530. 18530. Of course, I don't have a pen right here. Oh, wait, I have my phone. Cuff you. Hopefully, you're still on here. I'm sending you the number 18530, and then I'm going to send it to Truth. Oh my God, my daughter just said 18530. Gianna, are you listening? Gee, I've been doing this for like a minute now. Who's even still here, you guys? What in the heck? All right, let's see what we got here. Gee, it says Gianna Vona is a new member. Shut up, G. Gianna, my daughter became a member, you guys. That's so cute. I want to come up and punch you right in the face. I just talked shit on Mackenzie for texting Dom while they're in the house. And that's exactly what me and Gianna are doing right now. Gianna, I love you. You are an amazing child. I really am blessed to have such special children. Oh my God, Jen. Thank you, Jen. Thank you so much for the super sticker, you guys. Barbara. Thanks, Barb. You guys, I want to cry. I am so lucky to have each and every one of you. I can't even tell you. You guys are amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, she said nice things about me. That's so cute. Gee, you make me want to keep going. Do you have school tomorrow? No, you don't. Oh, you guys, I'm looking back. Yes, Queen. I didn't hear all of it, but I have to. You guys, you make me want to keep going. I know you are all like, please don't. You've been doing this since 9:30. It's been like 2.5 hours, right? You guys are done, right? Let me know. Gianna said, keep going, girl. What do you guys think? I'll give it a second. I'm going to take a sip of my drink. And, well, let me turn this off so you guys don't see my butt when I get up. But I'm still here. I can still hear you. I'm going to take a sip of my drink, and I'm going to give it a second. You guys tell me whether I keep going or not. I don't have school tomorrow, and neither does Gianna. I am such a blessed woman. Oh, Coca-Cola's game. Shut up, you guys. Okay. I didn't know if I was boring you guys. I don't even know how many people are on here right now. Of course, my computer that could. The box is like the tiniest little thing. You can't see anything. So I didn't know if there was one people in here. Did you guys just hear what I said? I said one people. Okay. Sirius is game 2. Shut up. So's Cuff You. Tisa. Nancy. You guys. I love you. All right. Gianna's going to hang out. True said, go, girl. Go use the bathroom, too. I have to go to bed. I wish I could say. Chrissy, thank you, Chrissy, for coming. You go to bed, and you can always come back later. Oh, you guys are having fun? Nice. Nice, you guys. I love you. I am going to put Harlot's still here? You guys, this is literally the best family I could ever ask for. I swear to God. I am so blessed to have all of you. Yes, have a good night, Christy Edwards. Don't tempt me with a good time. You're funny. We love you too, Nug Nug. I love that. Oh, you guys are laughing so hard, you're crying. Oh my God, this is amazing. Okay, then I'm going to keep going. Let me keep going. I will put my camera back on in 1 minute for Miss Barbara, if you're still here. She likes to see my expressions. Gee, we all know that I have big facial expressions. I'll put it on in 1 minute. So we're at June 1st, 2021. And he says, what are you doing after Polaris? And then he says, I'm about to come over, babe. Do you have anyone over? She said, yes, Kendra. You can come still. He said, when is she leaving? She says, I don't know. Soon, probably. He said, let me know, babe. I'm going to come over. She said, I'm driving her home now. Look at what I found. And sends him pictures. And he says, what do you want for mild fusion, babe? Or do you want something else? What? Wild rice and pot stickers? Do you want anything else? Do you want me to come back? Come on, babe. Let me know. I'm not going to go get this food if you don't want any. Okay, so you don't want me to come, babe? Let me know when you want to talk. I love you, Kenzie. I'm going to come over, babe. Is that okay? Or you already asleep? I got to be back at my house at like 7:30 tomorrow, though, for my furniture. And then she finally answers and says, if you want. She doesn't answer till 9 o'clock at night. She must have been mad. He says, okay, come in. Give me a sec to run next door and lock my house. How did your test go, babe? Now it's at 6:02 at 10:35 a.m. She says, passed. He said, yeah, you bet. What'd you get? And she said, I got an 85. And then he says, damn, good job, babe. Now you're done with school too. She said, yes, I have Polaris tomorrow. He said, how do you have it tomorrow? I was going to say celebration tonight. She said, I would if I didn't have school. He said, I feel it. She says, I have a facial at 1. He said, that's lit. My furniture came. They messed up my table. So I put it back the right way. And now it's still messed up. And she said, what did they do? He said, they put the bottom on the top and the top on the bottom. I put it back. Now the bottom's too big. And she says, bruh, that's annoying. I don't even fully understand what that means. How do they just effing build it wrong? They should know how to build it. He said, want to FaceTime real quick? I'll show you. She said, I want Popeyes. He says, that sounds pretty yes. What do you usually get? She said, I don't know, something. And then she says, potatoes, maybe a little chicken fingers, a biscuit. I'm on the way home for my facial right now. Dom, he said, what's up? I got the table together good. Still missing screws. I still want to return the couch, though. She said, would you get me Popeyes? He said, for one kissy? Oh, for one kissy. She said, chickie, biscuit. He said, I don't know what that means. She said, I accept your offer. I might get ripped. And then she said, tipped. Oh, so he might get tipped. He said, I bet I was going to say I need an extra kissy. And then he says, when you coming over, babe? Want to help me find couches? She said, babe, I was just going to go home and chill because I got a facial. I'm driving right now. I would have gone and gotten it. I'll just go get it probably. I'll help you though. He said, oh, so you don't want Popeyes? I'm confused. You want me to just go? She said, yeah, I did, but I can just go, babe. I didn't know that's what you thought. I feel bad. He said, oh, she feels bad for him. Isn't that a friggin' first? He said, I thought you just wanted me to buy it. And we'd go together. And she said, I know. He said, so I meant I'll just go. She said, yes, but I can just go, babe. I just dropped my mom off, then go. He said, okay, babe. She said, do you want anything? Come over. He said, I'm okay, babe. She said, don't forget the Cedar Point money. I'm about to be home. He said, okay, let me see what I got to do. Then I'll come over. She said, well, I was going to Popeyes. And he said, to get what? She said, food. He says, oh, yeah, I'm not really craving Popeyes. Go to the one in North wherever. It'll probably be way better. And she says, babe. And he said, what? And then he says, babe. She said, I'm about to go. He said, okay, babe. You going to go to the North Obstal one or whatever? And she said, probably not. I'm going to go to the closest one. He said, I don't do the one in Clay because the line is super long, probably longer in line than the drive. She said, will it raise the same? Oh, she said it'll be the same. Someone said, what? Wait, I don't even want to say that out loud. That's the most ridiculous thing. You guys, she says, someone said black people's Popeyes is better than white people's Popeyes, like the food. What in the actual F is she talking about? What is wrong with her? He said, I'm not sure. I don't get it very much. And then he says, it depends on who's working. She said, I don't know. He said, you ain't going to have. I don't even want to say that out loud. That is so effed up. He says, you ain't going to have Aunt there. Aunt Jemima. Oh, I don't like that. He said, oh, there you go. He said, they're just being racist. And she says, laughing my ass off, I'm going to go. He says, get me a sandwich, no mayo, no pickle, and some fries. I thought she didn't want any. She said, exactly. Tell me exactly how to say it. And he said, plain chicken sandwich with fries. She said, okay. He said, which one did you end up going to? She says, on the way. No, north. He said, when you come back, you want to just come to my place? Right now, I'm waiting on Jared. He's stopping for some real quick. She says, if you want. He said, yeah, you bet. Or if he dips for doing enough, I'll meet you at your house. And she says, I'm coming. He said, okay, bet, come to my house. My mom's making meatball subs then. I'll come back. She said at Pulp with Morgan. And then it was redacted. And he says, lit. Oh, she says KMS. So myself. Then she says, are you mad? He says, kind of. She said, why? He said, pressure, resentment. Excuse me. He says, pressure, resentment. Yeah, I want a meatball sub right now too, please. That sounds good. And then she says, the pressure of what? You're feeling guilty? And he said, ha. No, just pressure and resentment of always trying to be my best. And she said, I'm going to come home around 10:15. Be ready. 10:50. And he said, what time do you want to leave by? She said, 11:30. He said, faux show. I got a couple things at your house. She said, okay, just drive there and get them. And you just need to be ready in time. Do you want me to get you on the way home from Polaris or after I change? Because I'm picking up Hallie and Taylor too. He said, I don't care, whenever's convenient. I just got out of the shower. I just got to dry my clothes and get dressed and brush my teeth. She said, all right, get dressed and brush your teeth. I'll get you on the way home. He said, okay. He said, should I wear pants or shorts? She said, I'm going to wear pants. He said, okay. She says, here. He said, where are you going? Why are you leaving? Why did you dip instead of just talking to me? Why aren't you answering me? She said, it's okay. I'm just not going to ride any more rides for the rest of the day. He said, why? She said, because I came here to sit and eat food. He said, okay, be mad. That's not going to solve anything. She said, I'm not mad. I'm just sitting doing nothing because it's so fun. And he said, well, you can't sit and do nothing by me. And she said, no. Or can you come sit and do nothing by me? She said, no. He said, okay, well, I'm just going to chill and hit the pen. Oh, there he goes. He has to say hit the pen because that'll get her to come. She said, faux show. He said, can I get my card so I can get a drink? And then he said, wait, don't I get a cup with my drink? And she said, you can get it later. He said, when? She said, later. He said, when is that? She said, later. He said, LOL, I got a headache. She said, I'm ready to leave. He said, why do you want to leave? Because I didn't want to go on the swings. Okay, well, where are you at so we can leave then? Question mark. She said, no, I'm fed up. He said, why? You can talk to me about it. She said, I don't want to. He said, what's that going to do then? She said, well, what's talking going to do? You already don't change when you make mistakes. You're probably just going to do the same thing in a week or two. He said, if you don't tell me what I did, then how am I going to know? If you don't talk to me about it, how do I fix it? She said, how the F are we going to talk all the way from the end of the park to the swings just for you to say then, let me walk on there alone when we effing get there? And he said, I didn't know we were going to the swings. She said, it's my choice. If you wait, it's my choice if you effing fix it or not. And he said, you told me when we were close as F. And then in caps, she said, you did though. And then he says, I had no idea where we were going. I said, oh, we're going on the swings? Then you said, yeah, and stormed off. And then in all caps, she puts, I don't care. And then she says, you didn't even tell me you weren't going to the ride. I do not care at all. You're being annoying as F. Oh, you guys, I would leave her there in a minute. You have no idea. He says, when IJ, my daughter's in here, tell me if dad said that to me, I wouldn't have jumped out of the car and been like, I'll get another ride. Get the hell out of here. Don't ever let anybody talk to you like that, you guys. And then he says, because we're far away, so I just stayed back. She said, that was the most dumb reply I've ever heard in my whole life. You literally sound like an effing And then she says, literally never text me that gay excuse again. Oh, that's annoying. And then he says, you were like running away from me. I didn't get the chance to tell you that I didn't want to go on it because you ran away and you didn't tell me the whole way there. So yeah, that was on the spot. Of course I'm not going to go on. I'm afraid of heights. Oh, she said there's something called voice and it could reach very loud. We're playing games. He said, what games? Okay, well, next time I'll yell for you. Next time, if we're going on a ride super high up, like that, make for sure I know we're right by the ride. And then she says, I'm just not going to ride any more rides. He said, okay. Well, where are you? You want to play games? We can get candy apples too. She said, you seriously don't know where the game area is? I literally just told you where I was. He said, arcade or game. She said, how are you confused? I literally said games. And he said, okay, let me think. I'll be there in like 3 minutes. This is my third time. Is the games by the arcade? And she said, bruh. And then he sends a green cross or something. He said, let me know if you want anything. Oh, I guess it's like the dispensary or something. So now it's the next morning on 6/4 at 10:48 a.m. She says, get me Dave's. And he said, Dabs? Okay. And she said, yes. Or a cart. And he said, what kind of dabs? She said, any. He said, okay. Ones you don't have to refrigerate or ones you do? Ones you do are going to be a lot darker. She said, any. He said, okay, I got you. What's the plan for today, babe? Chris hit me up to chill. She said, we can do something. He said, what do you want to do? Should I tell Chris I can't chill? And that was at 5:25. And then at almost 6 o'clock, she says, I took a nap. He said, what, babe? She said, nap. He said, Chris is over. He's going to chill for a little. She said, is that the fat one? Wait, is the fat one with him? And he said, nope. My bad, babe. Love you. And she says, Lincoln wants me to come get her at 8. He says, okay, well, you want to just chill later? Is there going to be dudes there? Oh, God. She said, it's that little kid, Gavin's party. He said, Gavin who? She said, I don't know his last name, but I know it's Lincoln's little friend. It's going to be like a 4-wheelers and shit. He said, should I just stay here? I got you dabs from the dispo. They're pretty gas. And she said, oh, I'm excited. Is the cart at my house? I want to hit it. He said, the cart's over here. She said, oh, gay. He said, let me know what's up. Love you, babe. She said, nuggy, babe, babe. And then he says, babe. She says, babe. He said, what's up, babe? She says, should I have a game night at my house tonight, like a little party? He says, yeah. She said, I'm just going to invite anyone on my private story. So it could be a party. He said, okay, sounds fun. I just made some good bread today. She said, babe, I'm proud. He said, $500 already, laugh out loud. She said, damn, babe, can you drop off a G for Paige, please? He said, yeah. She said, thanks, babe. I'm about to get her. He said, okay, babe, when you need it. She said, right now. He says, okay, I'll be home soon. She said, you're coming over tonight, right? He said, yeah, of course, babe. What's the plan? Do you want to get a bottle? Maybe some Dom Perignon? She says, we're having a game night. Blair and Mallory want to come. He says, bet. Do you want to get a bottle? She said, sure. He says, bet. Let me see who can get me a bottle. She says, okay, bet. He said, what do you want to eat? She said, I don't care. Up to you, bae. He says, if we get Dom, we can really let anyone, we can't really let anyone else sit. She said, I know, right? It's gas though. And he said, yeah. So what should we do? She said, I don't care about anyone else, LOL. He said, because I got to get it soon. Bet, I'll get Dom. She said, I'm home. You can come. He said, okay, I'm going to get some Dom and Patron. And then he said, that was at 7:58. Then at 8:40, so almost an hour later, he said, I couldn't hear you. I'll come in a second. I got to stop at home. She said, I'm getting tired. He said, what are you doing right now? She said, sitting. He said, no one's over. She said, Lincoln. He said, well, what's the move? Is Blair coming or Mallory? She said, hit him up. He said, I did. She said, Mallory, not a good person to talk to. So just text Blair. He said he would let you all know. She says, well, Mal is slow as shit. He said, yeah, I'm going to text Blair in a second. She said, she just told me she's almost at his house. He said, bet, so she's probably coming. She says, okay, good. Okay, so Mallory's bringing one of her friends. He said, yeah, that's what Blair said. Do you think she's going to be chill? Mackenzie says, I don't know, hopefully. He says, should I ask Blair? She said, I don't really care. Mallory wouldn't just bring some dumb bitch to my house she knows. She knows me. He said, true. She says, question marks. I'm for real tired. That's at 9:30. She says, what the F? He says, on the way in a sec. Al Fellow took over, and I had to count money. Here. That was at 9:30. So the next day, at 4:30 in the afternoon, she says, Popeyes? He says, Popeye. She says, I know, right? He said, out of the shower, I'm drying off. You want to come over? She said, give me 5. I'm tanning, laugh out loud. He said, okay, bet. I got to get ready anyway. She said, I'm going to come though. You want to just scoot me or do you want me to take my car? Babe? He says, my hair's soaking wet in my face. She said, oh. He said, can you just come drive my car? She said, sure, yes. He said, okay, bet. She said, I'm about to come. I'm just cooling down. He said, I got half tank. I bet I got to get dressed and I got to get dressed and brush my teeth. I keep shaking my hair and blowing it dry, but it's still dripping wet. She said, coming. I have your shoes. Nah, if you need to learn when to talk, what? So that was at 4:30. And then at 8:30, she says, nah, for real. You need to learn when to talk and when to not talk. And then she said, wrong time. Were you for real? And then she writes, what the F? He said, how do you think your mom feels? She said, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to not go to this party. He said, she's just trying to do something for you. Mackenzie says, so are you going to stop or are we not going to go? He said, okay, I'll stop. She said, you can come over. She says, question mark, and then sends question marks again. He says, wow, you're so cool. Your phone was bugging. That's why I didn't hear you. She said, sounds like attitude to me. He said, you give me attitude every day, every hour of every day. She said, no, I don't. I don't know what's up with you, but you can either calm down or leave. Like, I don't know what you're trying to do. You're still paying for my nails, right, babe? And he said, sure. She said, my appointment's at 2. Are you coming back over here? And he said, not sure what I'm going to do. You want to just stop by? She said, sure. He said, bet. She said, my dab thing is being weird as F. He said, what is? Wait. I'm a shower, doors unlocked, and money's on the table. Take what you need. Should be enough. Also, Lincoln needs 2 carts if you want to do that. She said, I can do that. He said, bet. She said, there's enough to make change. Is there enough to make change for a 50? He said, that's okay. She said, okay. He said, I'll give you the rest later if you want. She said, I'll give you it later, LOL. He said, okay, bet. She says, on the way to Crocker, love you, Muggy. I think she meant, Nuggy, sorry. He said, love you too, babe. I'll see you later. And then at 2:30, so an hour later, she said, how much for pre-roll? He said, all 3 or for 1? All 3 is 50, 1 for 20. She said, what about 2? What about for 2? He said, 2 for 40. She says, okay, bet. 3 for 50? He said, okay, bet. And then he says, I'm home. I'm going to run to some other places. She said, oh. He said, is that okay? Are my slides at your house? She said, yes, babe. I'm not sure. I'm in the bathroom. He said, they should be somewhere. Just let me know if you can. She said, I'll look for them. What are you doing? He says, driving. What's the plan for today? She said, I don't know. I'm just laying in bed. He said, faux show. She said, what are you doing? He says, nothing. I'm at the crib. Might start whipping edibles or something. She said, I'm at Crocker Park on the way home. He said, what did you do there? She said, I got one shirt. He said, that's what's up. What are you doing now? Do you want to do something? She says, I'm getting Wendy's with Faith. I'm down. He said, what should we do? I want to get effed up drunk or something, or pop a pill. She said, I don't know. You asked me. Are we just going to sit when we do? And he said, it's a team decision. LOL, bet. She said, are we going to do something fun when we do that? I don't want to drink. He said, probably not, so just screw it. She said, we can still hang. He said, what are you trying to do? I might just record tonight with Blair. She said, I'll come. He said, okay, babe. You asleep? Question mark. That's at 9:30. Then she says, no, I'm straightening face hair right now. Sorry, I've been doing it for a while. He said, oh, okay, just didn't answer. Snap. How could you straighten her hair? Isn't it super curly? She said, I'm driving her home right now. He said, I'm about to go get gas. She said, I'm about to be home. He says, okay, babe, you going to come while me and Blair record? It might be a little boring at parts because we're going to be focused. She said, I'm low-key tired as F, but I want to. I want to hear what you can do, though. I'm interested in my little nuggum, my music, babe. And he said, whatever you want to do, babe. I always want to see you. I'm going to be way more focused on the music, though. She said, just after, do your music, come over. We're leaving the door unlocked. He said, no promises, because I don't know how late I'll be up over here. She said, well, how late do you think? He said, I don't know, for real. Probably be doing it till I get tired. She said, are you still at my house? Oh, so that was at 10:14 p.m. And then at 11:20 a.m., she said, are you still at my house? How much did you drink last night? He said, I left. Hella. I don't remember coming over. She said, bruh. He said, LOL, what? She said, so you drunk drove to my house last night? Oh my God, you guys. So we know she's against drinking and driving. She said, your breath probably still smells like it was so strong last night. He said, I don't remember driving to your house. I'm going to check my car. My car's chilling. She said, oh my God. He said, come make me some food. My stomach hurts. She said, I think I got the job. He said, but no food for me. And then she sends pictures and TikToks. And then she writes OMG and sends more. Literally, let's go right now. I will drive. He said, that looks sick, but I got his shit too. I got shit to do. She said, when are you going to be done? He says, we don't have time to drive there today. She said, oh. He said, I'm like hungover from yesterday too. I ain't even going to shower. She said, how much did you drink? He said, I don't know for real. She says, when are you coming over? He said, I don't know when I'm getting gas and then I'm going to shower. She said, babe, could you please bring me some bud? I need it. He says, yeah. What are you doing right now? She says, I'm with Riley at my house. We smoking. He said, right? Bet you just want me to stop by real quick. And she said, you can stay if you want to. Please bring me some weed though, babe. He said, I'm gonna come in a sec. Here, come out. She said, come over. Blair, Mallory, and Alyssa want to hang. He said, okay, give me a sec. She says, come. And then she loved come over. And then he said, hitting a bottom when coming. She says, what are you doing? He said, on the way to Jared's. She says, I'm taking a math master test. This is on 6/10 at 10:37 a.m. And then she says, KILL myself. Hallie is here and she's like sitting next to me, but one seat away. So it's weird. He says, oh, you had summer school? Oh my God, she had summer school? And then he said, oh my God, you guys, she had summer school her senior year? Wow. Then he says, she definitely want to be friends. Just be cool with her. What did she do? Mackenzie says, she's a follower. She don't know how to have her own opinion. Can I get 3 carts when I leave summer school? He said, if I'm home, then don't be friends with her. She said, can I just go get them? He said, yeah, it might be unlocked. She said, okay, I'll look. I'm going to leave around 11:30, 12. He said, okay, FaceTime me when you're there. She said, okay, bet. And then she says, want to swim? At 1:06. He said, where? She said, I don't know. He said, it's not that hot today. She says, I text Kristen. He said, it's really humid though. We can swim there, yeah? Is it going to rain? She said, look at my Instagram. And then he sends a picture. And he says, okay, babe. Oh, I think it was a picture of the weather. There you go. And then he says, okay, babe. And he said, who's Jordan Pistache or whatever? And she said, one of my cosmetology girls. He said, okay, bet. She said, what does your comment mean? He said, I deleted it. She said, why? He said, eat it like cold pizza? Huh? I'll comment something else. Oh my God, he wrote, eat it like cold pizza. I'm dead. Stop. Eat it like cold pizza. I'll comment something else. And then she wrote, I'll go look. He said, that makes more sense. She said, your comment isn't there. He said, I know, I don't know what to comment. And I ain't want to comment something too sexual because your mom's going to see it. She said, my mom's so stupid. Literally can't. We're just going to make it at your house. He said, Blair wanted me to go. Wanted me to go anyway. She said, laughing my ass off. Okay. Happy Pride, Dom. Oh, it's Pride Day, you guys. I have so many friends here tonight. There you go. June 10th, 5:06. She tells Dom, happy Pride Day. He said, are you good? Like, why do you fight with everyone all the time? Who is Von Unguardable? I'm going to tell him off. Are my Frontos at your house? She said, I don't know. He said, okay, babe. And then he sends that symbol. You guys, what is that symbol? Why don't I know? Gianna, you're going to have to tell me later or something. It's like a circle. And then there's an arrow pointing to like 1 o'clock. Like on top of the circle. It comes out at like the top of the circle with an, I don't know what it means. And then she says, no, it's okay. It's okay. Do something. I've been trying to deal with you for days without me. It's concerning as F that you're not bringing me to dinner, but whatever. He said, it's Misha's birthday. It's not a bring your girlfriend thing. It's just the four of us guys going. She said, why are you acting like I'm not going to sit there and eat? You guys, don't ever do that. Not you guys personally, but like, who does that? He literally just said it's not a bring your girlfriend dinner. And she said, why are you acting like I'm not just going to sit there and eat? But whatever, Dom, I don't even care. He said, like, it shouldn't be concerning. She said, I don't even care anymore. He said, we go out to dinner every week. She said, of course you're not getting the effing point. Whatever, just go eat. I need weird too. I'll pay for it. I need more than just enough for one bowl to be packed. He said, I barely have any, but okay. She said, I just said I'll pay for it. I need it like right now though. He said, yeah, I've been selling shitty weed. Okay, on the way. She says, okay. And you were about to go on vacation without me too? Like, what the F? And he said, no. I told you I didn't want to leave you. And then he says, here. Then he says, if you have any bags you don't like here, could I get it back? And she said, Mallory and Blair want to hang. And he said, when? She said, tonight. When are you going to dinner? He said, they said around 7:30. Probably just be an hour though, so we can definitely chill with them around 9 or something. And then she says, are you home at 7:47? And at 7:55, he said, why are you mad, babe? She said, don't act like you give an F. Just go effing eat your dinner. Oh my God, she is so dramatic. He said, why would I not give an F? She said, you're joking, right? He said, no, like, why are you mad? Are you still chilling with us? She said, what the F? He said, what? She said, well, I already slept for like 2 hours and you're already late as F. So what's the point of even doing it? Like, I'm not even trying to do that anymore. I love how you just took your time. And he said, I really didn't, babe. She said, I know Mallory's mad that I'm not coming. He said, who cares? She said, is that all you could ever say? He said, you can still have fun. She said, bruh, no. At this point, I'm going the F to bed. Do you think I want to come to your house just to watch you and Blair be annoying as F? And he said, okay, babe, good night, love you. Have a good night, babe. Sorry I was late. Nothing went the right way. She said, nothing ever goes the right way when you're involved. I'm not going to have a good night. I never have a good night anymore. Literally, F everyone. He said, you decide whether you have a good night or not. She said, I don't need your words of wisdom, buddy. You could just shove it up your ass. Maybe if everyone around me wasn't so effing stupid. So yeah, go party with Blair and Mallory, buddy. I'm sure that's going to be so fun. You guys can just be studio bros and make Mallory sit in the living room the whole time. I'm sure that's going to be so fun for her. He said, I'm sorry you feel that way. I wish everyone around you wasn't so terrible. She said, you're part of the problem. He said, sorry you feel that way, babe. There's nothing I can do about how you feel because it's how you feel. You decide. She said, okay, buddy. Why did she keep calling him buddy? She said, just invite Link and over. And then she wrote Lincoln, just invite Lincoln. She said, you will have so much fun with her. And he said, LOL, okay. She said, yeah, do you really want to be done? He said, it sounds like you want to. I don't give up, but I don't know if you want to. And she said, you're the one who likes little girls. Back up. What? What? She said, you're the one who likes little girls. You're the one who cheats on me. I mean, I'm the one with all the trauma from you. Like, you're literally the reason I have no friends. And I stopped acting like you're not on the phone. He said, I didn't cheat on you. I didn't even hit on Lincoln. It just sounded like I did. Oh my God, you guys. He said, I didn't hit on Lincoln. It just sounded like I did. She said, When are you going to realize that you have cheated on me multiple times? And you did. And he said, and I said, I'm sorry to make you feel better. She said, you're honestly grossing me the F out. What the actual hell? He said, okay, let's just talk tomorrow. She said, no, we're not talking tomorrow or the next day. He says, okay, so are you breaking up with me? She says, I don't know. Should I, Dom? He said, you probably know what's right deep down. I'll keep trying my best as long as we're together. She says, I'm going to need you to stop saying you're trying. He said, I love you. Okay. She said, I'm giving the minimal level of effort is not trying. And then she said, you give like below the minimum level and call it trying. It's honestly funny. He said, you can say all you want, babe, but you know, I do a lot for you, babe. She said, just because you do a lot for me doesn't mean you're effing trying. Why the F is everyone so slow? He said, how does that make sense? She said, brah, in capital letters. I'm so effing fed up. And then in caps, she writes, so fed up. He says, well, whenever you decide, babe, I still love you. She said, I'm sure, because somebody who loves you flirts with a 15-year-old while you're asleep. And then she says, strange. Meanwhile, it's funny, you guys, because right at this moment, she's 16. On the other hand, he's 19 at this moment, almost 20. Then he says, hey, 3 years down, babe, with you. So now wait, so they were fighting that whole time? Oh, it's the next morning. So it was like the 11th, but in the middle of the night. So it's really the 12th. So it's 1:14 a.m. So at 1:13 is when she said, wow. At 1:13, she says, because someone you love flirts with a 15-year-old while you're asleep. Strange. And the next minute, literally, he wrote, oh my God, I can't even believe that. I had to check it to make sure. It wasn't even a minute. It was like 20 seconds. He writes, hey, 3 years down, babe, with you. With all the other girls trying to stop us. I feel like that shows. She said, what the F? What the F are you even talking about? 3 years don't matter. He said, why would I cheat on you with Lincoln? She said, time doesn't matter. I don't know. You're the weirdo who flirted with her. And with your last choices of bitches, it wouldn't be a surprise. He said, if I really wanted to, I could just hit someone up. Like, I'm not that fried, laughing my A off. She says, you're literally disgusting. You're lucky I just seen this text just now. Go ahead and hit someone else up, buddy. Have fun. Try to find someone like me. You really just blocked me right now. Literally block me right now. He said, okay, good night, babe. Then he says, I was saying I was going to cheat on you. I was saying, why would I flirt with Lincoln when I could do anything else? She said, okay, we're done. Oh, this is in the morning. So that's what he wrote. The last thing he wrote, it was almost 2 o'clock a.m. At 10:54 a.m., she writes, okay, we done. So effing unreliable. He said, what's going on, babe? Let me know if you need anything, babe. She said, get as much stuff as possible. I need my face cream and my face wash too, and my iPad. He said, okay, babe, I will. She said, and my chargers, literally just shove it all in my mini bag. Are you there now? He said, just got here. She said, and we're going to call child services when we're home. Get all of my bongs, all of my jars, everything. He said, don't do that. She said, we're doing it. He said, send me a checklist of what I should grab. She said, that whole family deserves to rot in hell. He said, babe, I think this is getting out of hand. She said, bongs, jar, all my clothes, my face wash, my face cream, my eyelash brushes, my eyelash wash. You can put my clothes in baby bags or just shove it in a blanket and hold the blanket like a pouch. Just get anything valuable. And I need my iPad and my chargers. Did you get my shit? The F? He said, yeah, I'm getting it. She said, okay, send me pictures and videos so I know. And then she said, did you get it? Question mark. And he said, I'm not done yet. She said, okay. And send me videos. I've been standing here. Like, what the F? Question mark, question mark. Then she writes, question mark. Bruh, you're really annoying me. Question mark, question mark. He said, they're not letting me. She said, bruh, what the F? So how are you going to tell me you were getting it if they're not letting you? Bruh, I'm about to freak out. He said, your dad said. She said, nah, call the cops right now. He said, I can't, babe. There's nothing they'll do. She said, bruh, call them. He said, it's your first day at your work, babe. Try to focus. She said, literally just shut up. I don't even know why you thought it was a good idea to text me that. I'm so sick of the no effort. Like, what the F? Call the effing cops and get my shit. Oh my God, she's crazy. He said, babe, that's not going to work. She said, call the cops and get my shit. He said, I ain't talking to the cops. She said, then we're going to have issues. I'm so done. Literally, just go home. He said, okay, babe. She said, what the actual F is wrong with you? He said, nothing, babe. She says, clearly something's wrong with you because you're not getting my shit. Go get my shit right now. You really want to break up? We're done. Go F some Parma bitches. You proved my point more and more each day about how effing unreliable you are. Literally, we are done. Say bye to 3 years. He said, babe, I tried. Be done with me if you want. On text, she writes, stop saying you tried. You never do. And then she said, you give the least effort out of literally anyone you know, anyone I know. How do you just missed over 10 effing phone calls? He said, because my phone wasn't in my pocket. She said, literally stop. Your excuses literally kill my brain cells. You really couldn't think of anything better to say? You're so stupid. He said, your insults hurt me. I'm done doing anything for you if you're just going to insult me about it. She said, okay, then break up with me. I'll let you know. All you do is give excuses. All you know how to do is give excuses. He said, I'm sorry you feel that way. She said, with that weak ass reply, we're done. He said, I don't know what's going on with you, babe, but I hope you figure it out and I love you. She said, no, you don't. What's going on with me? If I'm realizing my effing worth? Now you can go F all the bitches you want. I know you've been dying to cheat on me. And of course, you're still dry. You never change. He said, babe, you just got to work through these problems. Whether they're with me or not, I hope you find peace and happiness. She said, working through the problems isn't going to change anything. You have 5 minutes to reply to my snap, or there will never be a chance with us again. And then she said, come get me. So that was at 2:16. I guess he replied because at 3:23, she wrote, come get me. Question mark. He said, I'm so mad. F your dad. F his phone. Took 40 minutes to add a new pin. Oh, he said, F your bed. And then he said, F yesterday. I missed like 15 sales. My back is effed. You have 5 minutes to reply or we're done. Good for you, Dom. He just gave her back her shit. Was it with him? Yeah, it was 1 minute later. 1 minute later, she says, I answered. He said, I'm so mad. I just broke my hoop. I can't deal with all this. She said, why? This is not my fault. He said, it is. She said, what hoop? He said, too much stress. I'm freaking out. Yesterday was not good. Can't do that to me ever again. Pay for a new backboard on an $1,800 hoop. She said, what the F is wrong with you? So you wake me up this morning by yelling at me and then you leave all mad and now you're going to text me like this? He said, babe, you threatened to break up with me 13 times in the past 2 days and then called me retarded, said I had no brain cells, called me a pedophile, a weirdo, everything in the book. She said, I said you were making me have no brain cells. He said, and I was nice as possible. Look at the text. I didn't yell at you this morning. I just said the bed F's my back up. I ain't sleeping in it again. Said we're done so many times. Like I can't do all this stress again. I just freaked out and threw a basketball bat and it hit the backboard of my nice hoop and it shattered. She said, that's your fault. He said, now I have to worry about glass everywhere and can't play ball. She said, I'm not here telling you to break shit. And I'm not escalating the situation. Oh my God. He said, all I'm saying is chilling me because you're making me freak out. Like I don't text you saying answer in 5 minutes or there's no chance with us. I don't say I'm losing brain cells with you. Why you? I don't tell you to shut up. I don't call you disgusting. I don't call you gross. The list goes on. Said, stop calling me, babe. I like little girls. All your trauma is from me. Saying I'm not trying. When you text me all that mean shit, and I just say I'm sorry. I'm sorry you feel that way, babe, or I love you, babe. And then he sends her a picture. And he said, this is how I feel. I'm with you through anything, but you can't talk to me like that. It hurts. I've been hurt my whole life. The hurting doesn't stop. Answer, babe. So she says, and why didn't you just say any of this when you were at my house like an hour ago? He said, why does it matter? Wrong is wrong. I didn't set me off then till I had to deal with all this other shit. Of course, that's the first thing you say, not like I'm sorry. Thanks, babe, for being there for me. And then he says, answer, babe. She said, I'm still hurt too. He said, okay, Kenzie, keep it all about you. Of course she does, Dom. She's a narcissist. She says, I'm here for you all the time, but whatever. He said, it's sad because I told my mom what happened. And even she thinks I don't need the stress. Oh, that's going to be a fight, you guys. He said it hurt. She said, okay, then dump me. Go talk shit to someone else. He said, wow. She said, I love how you always just have to get your mom involved. Like you don't see me over here telling my mom our business. He said, she's seen me break the backboard. What was I supposed to do? She said, bruh. He said, I didn't know what to do. I was ready to freak out. Well, I already was freaking out. Then instead of freaking out, I thought I'd tell you how I feel and we could work it out. But you just got defensive. She said, and I thought you had the balls to talk to me about it in person, but I guess not. He said, I'm not with you. You want me to come talk to you about it in person right now? She said, you were. Like, obviously you're not with me. Like, what the F? Are you going to freak out in my bedroom? Or are you going to have a normal conversation? He said, do you want me to come right now? And then she questioned that. And he said, I don't know. If you want to at this point, I already said how I felt. She said, then don't, in caps, and then in caps again. Like, what are you going for then? If you already said how you feel, then why the F are you still talking to me about it? He said, why are you being so mean? And then he emphasized what she said. And then he said, you didn't even say you're sorry or thank you. I don't talk to you like that, babe. Even before when I was texting you, blowing up on you, I was just reciting what you said to me. I didn't call you any names or try to make you sound stupid or anything. Like, all I wanted was an apology. Maybe I'll try not to do that. Not, okay, then dump me. And then he says, answer. She said, maybe you would have gotten an apology if you didn't freak out when you first text me. I don't think coming into me crazy as F is going to get you an apology. He said, when you come at me like crazy, I still apologize. You called me a pedophile weirdo. I apologized. She said, you flirted with a 15-year-old. He said, not even. She said, I'm sorry for being manic, but I'm allowed to feel the way I do. He said, me too. She said, you didn't even need to try to explain yourself. I heard it. He said, your words hurt. She says, your actions hurt. He said, you've been being mean to me since before that happened. Your act hasn't changed the situation. That's not the full problem. And I wouldn't have asked for an apology if I didn't freak out. I was swallowing everything. Sorry, it choked me. And I caught it up today. You've been mean to me since way before that happened. And then he says, answer. And then he says, answer. And then he says, don't take 5 minutes just to defend yourself again. She said, I'm allowed to feel the way I do. He said, me too. I said I was sorry. She said, I'm going to bed. He said, you didn't. I still love you. You still didn't say you were sorry for anything earlier. She said, I love you too. And then emphasized, I'm sorry for being manic. And he said, not what I was looking for, but okay. Stuff like yesterday does numbers on me. I was crying for so long and I didn't even know why, but I think it's because I don't want you to feel how I do. Oh, that's sad. And she said, come tan. He said, give me a sec, I'll be there. Actually, I don't know if I'm gonna come. She said, why? Come. I'm waiting. And then she questioned, why? Okay. He said, I'm taking a shit and then I got places to be. She said, but I have a surprise for you. He said, bet. When can I come get it, babe? Oh my God, you guys, stop it. She said, after I eat with my mom. Kristen and Kyle want to hang out. He said, I haven't even ate or showered today. When do they want to? I need to plan. She said, I don't know. I'll figure out everything after I eat. He said, okay, babe, what are you getting to eat? She said, Olive Garden. Oh, I'm starving, you guys. And then he said, get me some. She said, I'm already getting something and we're already paying. And he said, oh, bet. She said, I have leftovers for you though. He said, bet. Thanks, babe. Love you. She said, love you too, babe. On the way home, come over. He said, I'm 40 minutes away. She said, when are you back? He said, when you get back. He said, okay, got a couple more places to go. I'll be free in like an hour. She said, okay, babe, I'm tanning and I'm going to wash my hair after I tan. He said, okay, babe. She sends him TikToks. This is you when you drink too much. And he said, he's playing dead though. She said, I know, but that's how you look. He said, LOL. Hey, babe. And this is at 10 p.m. And she sends TikToks and she says, babe, Mallory's asking me to do a group FaceTime call with her and Blair, but I'm tired. Do you want to? And I'm really sad you're not sleeping here with me. He said, babe, I can't. My back, it literally hurts. I was going to ask them what beeves they want. She said, do you want to do a group FaceTime call? I don't know. He said, yeah, I don't care. You want to in like 5 minutes? And then she says, are you ready? Mallory keeps asking me. He said, 5 more minutes. She said, did you join? I didn't. He said, no, I didn't get a FaceTime call. She said, tell me when you're ready because I'm going to fall asleep. He said, I'm ready. She said, I'll do talk. A little too talkative with Mallory. She said a little too talkative with Mallory, but it's cool. Oh my God, he cannot win. He said, bruh, it's Mallory. She said, I know. I'm also out of weed. Oh my God, she's so selfish. He said, spot on. She said, me and my bae. And then sends a text of a picture. Excuse me. He says, what are you making, a martini or something? She said, a little drink. Do you have a blender? He said, we can buy one. Oh, you guys, if you ever need a blender, you get the Ninja. I have the big one, but we also have the little one. Got it for Gianna when she went away to college. I even got her like extra cups. She came back and it's mine for sure. I love it. I use it like every day. I do. She says, I have to, G, I'm starving, G. We should go. I don't know if AJ's sleeping, but Dad's sleeping. Me and you should go to Wawa and get soup. I have to talk to my dad before I'm allowed to leave. He's being a little maniac. He said, just tell him you'll be right back. She said, of course you have to squeeze in like 85 things. And you didn't invite me? He said, what do you mean? She said, honestly, annoying as F. He said, you're grounded. I didn't know you could come. And yes, because I'm busy. We're going to be late. Okay, I dipped. I'm grabbing the bottles from Sean. Then I'll come back if you answer. Okay, I'm going there. You can meet me, or we'll just go to the store after. Why haven't you answered yet, babe? Is everything okay? She said, if I can't come tonight, the party's not happening. Oh my God. Only if you didn't have that stupid ass plan, we could have just went shopping right away. He said, why can't you come? She said, are you slow? He said, what stupid ass plan? She said, I'm just not going to answer you. You can figure it out yourself. You're dumb. He said, okay, bye. I'm dumb. She said, I'm for real, about to not go. He said, why? She said, I'm about to just go to a mental hospital tomorrow. He said, why? Are you fighting with them again? Babe, what's going on? And then she sends an attachment. Go to the store. Get all that. What? She is so bossy. He said, do you want me to pick you up? She said, no. He said, why not, babe? Do you want me to go to dinner for Bradbury's birthday? I might not go. Oh, he better go to that dinner. She writes in all caps, bruh, do you not know we are having a party at 9? He said, they said they're coming at 9:45, 10 o'clock. Dinner's at 8. She said, Mallory told me 9. He said, okay, well, I guess I'll go to the store. She said, I'll go. Mallory's slow. Where are we eating? Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. He said, Square 22, probably. Should I come get you? We can go to the store real quick then? She said, yes, come. Bring a cart. Oh, she always uses him for pot. It's horrible. He says, okay, bet. Dinner's at 8, so we have to get some ASAP. I'm going to pick you up first. We're going to check my house. So if we got anything we need, then we'll go. Then we could go to dinner. And then he says, here. She said, I'm leaving. He said, why? So at 11 o'clock at night, she says, I'm leaving. He said, why? She said, the F you mean why? Oh, she is such a bee. He says, bruh, come have fun. She said, it's okay. You can laugh with them and play twerk music. He said, I said no. I didn't want to play that. Oh, that's ridiculous, you guys. That's ridiculous that he can't even play music. She said, hi, Blair. Want to keep showing him? And he said, I'm not showing him shit. She said, yep, step to the side. He said, I didn't show him anything. She said, seen that? Oh my God, she's psycho. He said, I stepped here so you can see. I'm not showing him. She said, okay. He said, okay, so what do you want me to do? Not talk to them all? She said, no, I don't want you close to them or laughing at everything they have to say. Oh my God. And you showed Blair because Mallory told me. He said, why are you so mad? She said, because my night is ruined. He said, why? Because I laughed. She said, and I argued with my family just to sit and do nothing. He said, get turned then. Like I haven't been able to have fun at all. She said, what the F is even funny about that? Weird as F. He said, Blair was dogging that bitch girlfriend because he don't got a car. And then he said, boyfriend, I guess. He says, do you care if I dip? Your mom and Danny sleeping down here. Danny's her sister. I'm not sleeping there anymore. You say you hate your house, but you always want to sleep there. I got no sleep all night. I'm so effed. My back is effed. Of course, I got to go get my charger. Sorry, babe. I couldn't stay. I was getting frustrated. She said, you left a whole Blackwood in my kitchen and my house reeks. He said, oh, true. I'll get it. She said, I was going to ask you if I can smoke it. It's okay if you want it. I just need more weed because I'm going to smoke with Karina today. He said, I don't have weed. Have Karina get her own weed. What about the 3 ounces of shake that's laying around your room? Can't she smoke that? She said, okay, cool. He said, are you mad? She said, no, just confused why you're still being mean to me. He said, how's that being mean? I've been getting called for weeks. I'm honestly more offended when I haven't had bud for weeks and you think you can smoke my personal smoke with Karina. And you let Kendra smoke my shake for weeks. She said, I always offer to pay, but you hold that against me, laughing my ass off. He said, Kenzie, I don't have bud to sell. That nug I gave you was my smoke. And that bag of shake you didn't ask, you didn't pay for, and you just let her smoke it for weeks. Then you said it's the shake bag that Kendra smokes. She said, I'm done with this conversation. He said, why? She said, why are you always trying to fight? He said, I'm gonna come grab my shake then. She said, Kendra only smoked out of that bag like 5 times. Okay, get it. He said, you're always trying to fight. She said, okay, come then, for real, acting like I care. He said, okay, bet. Have Kendra pay for the shake, because that was Uber 2 sips, like $300. And then she said in all caps, she did not smoke a lot of it, Dom. You're acting like I just let her. Like, what the F is happening right now? Like, I thought we were talking about Kendra. Now we're talking about Kendra. Can you effing make up your mind? He says, Kenzie, let her smoke my weed without asking. And the other weed isn't about money. I just don't have any weed. I have no smoking weed. Had to roll Blackwood of the mids. And she said, I love how all this is my fault. He said, it's not. I just feel offended. You said I'm going to need more weed because I'm going to smoke with Karina. And I gave you my only weed. Besides that, I just have mids. She said, I'll pay. Bro, I'll just get from someone else. If it's going to be that much of a problem. He said, just have Kendra pay for the shake. She said, you're not about to hold that shit over my head. He said, that's what I care about. She said, I'm done with this effing conversation. He said, it's not that you have to pay. It's that I have no good weed, and I give you the only good weed I have. I wish I had some, but I gave it to you because I want you to have it, not Karina. She said, oh my God, in capital letters, what the F is your issue? I'm done with this conversation, literally done. He said, my issue is that my girlfriend doesn't get it. She said, like, what the F in caps? He said, like, why are you mad? In caps, she says, clearly I get it, because you're being annoying as F, holding shit over my head. He said, no, because you keep offering to pay for the nug, but not the shake. She said, not the nug in caps. Oh my God. He said, okay, bet. She said, bruh, bye. He said, wow. She said, I love how you wake me up by being mean. He said, I didn't even think I had to. Thanks for the nug last night. She said, what a great way to start my day. And you definitely did. You were probably just being drunk. And I remembered. He said, if you bought all the mine you smoked, and you wouldn't have to pay for nails and clothes or anything. So you guys, he pays for her nails. He's always sending her like 90. Oh my God, it's 1:15. Oh, Jay, are you still awake? Text me if you're awake. If you bought all of it, and he has to pay for her nails and her clothes. She said, come get your effing nug then. He said, just know that. She said, I'll just go effing Michigan with my mom. Like, what the actual F? He said, yeah, you're going to dry up your pockets quick. Oh, you're doing crafts in your PJs? Are you hungry? And then she's tired but listening. I want to go get soup, Jay. You guys, I'm going to end in a minute anyway. It is getting late. She says, I'm putting all you gave me in a bag. You can come get it. He said, you're so unreasonable. She said, I have your wood and your shake and your nug in a bag. He said, I've given you thousands of dollars in weed. And then he said, don't out the wood in a bag. She said, my mom put it in a bag. Her mom put his weed in a bag. That's a little crazy. He said, here, I'll just come right now. She says, because my whole issue smells like a fucking roach. Well, sorry, that just came out. I could eat soup and I love you, but I physically can't go. I didn't say you had to go. I just said, do you want soup? Because I'm going to go get soup. Sorry, you guys. And then he says, probably Ashlyn it all. She writes all in capital letters, laughing myself. Of course, that's what you care about. He said, yeah, of course, because that was a $50 blunt. Actually, a $60 blunt. She says, it seems like you love to stress yourself out, though, huh? Like, you do all this shit, and then you just complain about it, and then don't do it. You need help. Don't give me effing weed if you're going to be effing about it, and hold it over my head. He said, you're terrible to me. Maybe I should grab the rest of my weed. She said, okay, come, take everything. I'll get it all set up for you. He said, nah, maybe if you run it out. She said, laughing my ass off. He said, you want to get some Chinese and watch a movie? What? Later. She said, yes. What's happening right now? She said, I work till 9. He said, yay. Okay, bet. Want Chinese? She said, Chinese Renaissance? That one's the best one. Where's that? That's probably a terrible one. Maybe hibachi, if I can afford it. She said, it's the one that's kind of far with the good pot stickers. He says, oh, okay. I've been running around. Let me see what time they close. She said, okay, let me know. I work 4 to 9. He said, they close at 9. She said, you could just go get it at like 8:45. He said, yeah, I might have to do that. She said, I'm working with a girl that dated you. He said, who? She probably got the wrong person. She says, nah, in 8th grade, and then sends a picture. He said, who? You're effing with me. Who is that? She said, nah, Kaylee. He said, Kramer? She said, I don't know. He said, we didn't really date. Damn, I didn't even remember that for real. She said, I was talking about how me and my boyfriend almost broke up yesterday. She was like really interested when she found out it was you. And he said, well, I do now. She said, weird. He said, why, babe? She said, she keeps asking me about you. He said, why? Should I not come and get a smoothie then? She said, no. Actually, yeah, come. He said, why, babe? She said, you wanted to. He said, I feel weird to come now, but I will, babe. What do you want from the Chinese place? Babe, this smoothie is all clogged. Ew. I got food. Be back soon. What movie? She said, I'm home. He said, on the way. All right, are we at the next day yet? Oh, no, it's not the next day. Those gas. She said, I need. Like, for real. I need. I'm going to get them. He said, twin. Yes, she says. He says, bet. She sends pictures. He says, at Disney World? We need to go. Where are you at, babe? She says, yes. I'm at Crocker Park with Riley. He said, damn, I was going to ask if I could go get Chinese food, laughing my ass off. She says, I'm home. He said, what are you doing? I'm grabbing stuff. And she sends videos. And he says, that's wild. That's a big commitment, though. She said, I'd do it if I was 18. He said, I'll do it and you can come. She said, that's what I'm saying. Apply for it. He said, a whole year, though? No break? Like, what about school? What about my mom? Laugh out loud. She said, I don't know. He said, LOL. Well, maybe she should have went. I don't know if it was like an army thing or something, but maybe he should have went. He said, I'm driving. I'll watch it later. And then he says, what are you doing, babe? We're almost at night. As soon as this night ends, I'm going to end it. He says, yeah, I said about birth control isn't synthetic stuff. It's not good. She said, sleep. He said, want to FaceTime for a sec? You still up? And then he said, when you going to be off, babe? And then he says, I'm going to do some studio stuff, so let me know. I'm about to be off right now. What are you doing? And then he said, I'm at home, waiting for my babe. She says, who are you with? He said, just me. She said, do you want to come over? He said, yes. And then he says, we make steak still? She says, oh shit, let me in. And then she said, I mean, ask. So let me ask. It's 10 o'clock at night. They're making steaks. He said, let me know, because if not, I might just do the studio stuff. She said, with who? I need weed. Oh my God, of course she does. He said, you haven't left yet. And then she sends TikToks. All right, we're at the next day. So we are at 6/18/21 at 11 a.m. Oh, look, we're on 19004. That's so funny. That's almost my, that's almost our zip code at Frankfurt Ave. Oh my God, that's almost our zip code here. That's funny. I'll remember this. Gee, I'm writing 1900 for you, so I remember. All right, you guys. Let me come back here and let me shut this out so I don't change my mind. How you guys doing? I don't even know who's still here. Is everybody good still? I can't believe there's still this many people here. I'm in and out and missed a lot of stuff. Do they ever talk about getting intimate? Birdie, I am so glad you asked that. That is such a good question because there was a few times where I actually wanted to say something about that. So other than him saying, like, can you give me a kissy kissy? That's all we hear. And then when we get a little bit closer, like in a couple months, because I read ahead a little. I don't remember when I read ahead this part, but I know that at some point she says to him, and this is why we don't have S. And I'm like, oh, so I don't know. Wait, Barbara thinks she feels like, wait, let's see. I feel like they're in a better place than me. Oh, maybe sorry, trying to get justice. Oh, Gianna, you have to remind me to tell you about Barbara Hall's son's case. Oh, Cuff you don't know it? Oh, look it up, Cuff you. It's her son, Timmy D's. Timmy D's. Aw. You guys, I love you. Thank you for being here. Gianna, my love, thank you for being here. Oh my God, Barb, don't feel guilty about it. I hope not. You guys, Barb has a really, she's a really strong woman and she's amazing. And Timmy, it's so sad. And she lost her other son. She lost her 2 sons within 18 months. I have 2 daughters and that would just that would break me. So Barb, you are an inspiration. I've talked to her before and yes, we need a channel for you on Discord, 1,000%, Barb. We need to get justice for you. I love you guys. Oh, Gianna's half asleep. She doesn't know if she can eat. I'm going to go get soup by myself. Yes, we will find justice for Timmy. And G, I'm going to have to send you it too. You really enjoyed yourself here with you guys tonight. Thank you for your prayers. Oh, Barb, we love you. And justice for your son. I love you guys. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. This was a really long live. It was like 3.5 hours. Thank you for being here. Mwah. I'm going to go get my soup. I love my soup. I don't know what it is. Anyway, I'll see you guys. Good night. Please like, subscribe, and share if you enjoyed this so that I can continue to bring you content. Thank you so much.